thepascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. We got some things we got to get into. This is very interesting. We are trying to find out what's going on. I have been refreshing this particular live feed, and nothing has happened yet. But then there's allegedly, some other places where they're saying that he is live. So we're going to get straight into this very shortly. We understand that this whole thing, he is apparently, Tyler Robinson will be making his appearance virtually, just so you guys know. But before we get into everything, let me just make sure I got this thing set up so we can check out what the heck is going on here. This is very, very interesting. But before we get into everything, please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what to do. Hit that reaction button, please, and thank you. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, I'm on all of them. Make sure you hit that follow button. Follow. Of course, subscribe right here on my YouTube channel. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there as well. And check out Pascal Raw. New stuff on the horizon in the new year. So please make sure you are subscribed to all of them. Hit that notification bell on all those platforms so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out that Patreon if you want to support even further. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys, we got to get straight into this because it looks like it has already started. And allegedly, from my understanding, Tyler Robinson is making his court appearance, okay, again, virtually. So this is very interesting. So let's get straight into the meat and potatoes here, guys.
Considered in their full context. The limited scope of the redactions reflect the court's effort to preserve that context to the greatest extent possible. The redacted transcript will be promptly filed on the docket by the end of today. The corresponding audio recording will require additional time to ensure that it precisely reflects the approved redactions and that no protected material is inadvertently disclosed. The court anticipates the audio recording will be available within approximately 2 weeks. This court notes the importance of the audio in addition to the transcript because hearing what was said and how it was said is equally as important as just the transcript itself. The court's sole objective in this process has been to ensure a fair, orderly, and lawful proceeding that reflects the constitutional rights of the parties while honoring the public's qualified right of access. The court notes that the standing decorum order has also been updated and directs all parties to review the order in advance of future hearings. Accordingly, the court now issues the following order regarding the classification of the transcript and audio recording of the October 24th hearing. And turning to the order itself. The state of Utah and defendant Tyler James Robinson filed a motion to classify the transcript and audio of the sealed October 24th, 2025 hearing as private. Because the press requested notice of all such motions, the court held a closure hearing on December 11, 2025 to address the classification of the transcript and audio recording of the October 24, 2025 hearing. Prior to that closure hearing, the parties filed a joint status report identifying some 20 provisions of the transcript for redaction and stating that the balance of the transcript may be classified as public. Having reviewed the relevant pleadings from the parties and representatives of the press and heard oral arguments during the December 11th closure hearing, the court now rules and orders as follows. The public has a presumptive right to access court records. See Utah Rules, Judicial Administration 202.02 sub 1. That right, however, is not absolute. To support and achieve certain interests and objectives, a court may close portions or entire court records. Court record. A court may consider any relevant factor, interest, or policy, both in favor of and opposed to closure, in determining whether to redact portions of or close all or part of a court record. In deciding whether to redact or close a court record, a court must balance the interests favoring opening and closing the record, and if it determines to close the record, determine there are no reasonable alternatives to closure. The parties have argued, and the court has considered, the following policy interests in determining the motion. 1, protecting safety interests. 2, protecting privacy interests and non-party participants. And 3, protecting the defendant's right to a fair trial. Approximately half the portions of the transcript the parties seek to redact address courtroom and courthouse security measures. Safety concerns are well recognized as justification for closure of court records. This undoubtedly includes references in the court record to specific safety measures undertaken as part of the court security plan and practices in highly publicized cases. This case generates extraordinary ongoing national and international attention, some of which is threatening in nature to the parties, their representatives, and non-party participants. The safety and well-being of all involved in this matter outweighs the interests of the public that are served by open court records. Nevertheless, and as the parties recognize, the court need not seal the entire transcript and audio of the October 24th, 2025 hearing to protect the safety interests of all those involved. Redacting selective portions of the transcript and the audio that reference security measures will serve safety interests while allowing for as much public access to the remainder of the record as possible. The court hereby orders the redaction of the portions of the transcript corresponding audio referencing security measures identified in the parties' joint status report and further pared down during the closure hearing. These include the following portions of the October 24th, 2025 hearing transcript. Page 4, line 19 through 22, following the word unshackling until the sentence begins with the word and. Page 4, line 25 until page 5, line 1, including the first sentence of the last paragraph. Page 5, line 9 through line 10, following the word proceeding and ending before the word but. Page 5, line 18 and 19, including the entirety of the bailiff's comment. Page 33, lines 17 through 18, following the word courtroom until the end of the sentence. Page 34, lines 5 through 7, following the word arrested until the end of that sentence. Page 35, lines 24 through 25, including the last sentence of that page. Page 36, line 1, including the first word on the page until the sentence begins with the word that. Page 40, line 12 through line 16, following the word outside until the word maybe. Page 41, line 17 through line 21, following the word on until the end of the paragraph. Page 43, line 11 through line 13, following the word jail and ending before the sentence begins with the word and. Page 55, lines 12 through 13, following the word people and ending before the sentence beginning with the word so. Page 64, line 18 through 19, following the word Ben until the end of that paragraph. And finally, page 70, lines 1 through 3, following the word clothing until the sentence begins with the word I'm. Protecting personal privacy is a recognizable justification for closure of a court record. To justify the closure of a court record, a privacy interest must be more than a desire to avoid annoyance, criticism, or embarrassment, and must serve to protect information of a highly personal nature. The parties initially identified 6 portions of the transcript to be redacted based off privacy interests. During the closure hearing, the parties withdrew defendants' requested numbers 1, 2, and 11. The remaining 3 requests were significantly pared down. The court has already ordered the redaction of request 3 for security reasons, including page 34, lines 5 through 7, as ordered above. The court also finds that privacy interests support this redaction. The court has considered the interests favoring closure of the remaining 2 requests for redaction and concludes that the information is not of a highly personal or sensitive nature. Privacy interests do not outweigh the public's interest in this case. Therefore, the court denies redactions of the following portions of the transcript: page 35, lines 16 through 17, and page 80, lines 22 through 25. The right to a fair trial seeks to ensure that the one accused of a crime will have his guilt or innocence determined solely on the basis of the evidence introduced at trial. Thus, if disclosure of information poses significant risk of endangering a defendant's right to a fair trial, then closing or sealing a court record to protect that information is justified. Nevertheless, when such information has already been introduced to the public arena, there is a suggestion that no additional damage can be done, and the issue of sealing or closing the record becomes moot. Here, the joint status report identified 4 portions of the transcript for redaction based on the argument that redaction is necessary to preserve defendant's right to a fair trial. The court is unconvinced that the disclosure of the selected portions jeopardizes that right. The information in question is contained in the charging instrument, whether directly or indirectly, as part of the factual allegations made against defendant and already part of the public arena. If this information poses a risk of violating defendant's right to a fair trial, defendant's first line of defense is found in the rules of evidence and criminal procedure. Closing or redacting these portions of the transcript in audio is outweighed by the interests and the objectives served by open court records and mooted by prior disclosures in the information. Therefore, the court denies the request to redact the following portions of the transcript in audio: page 55, lines 2 through 7, page 60, lines 24 and 25, page 61, lines 1 through 6 and 13 through 14, page 64, lines 11 through 17. These portions also refer to a potential non-party witness. The court has considered redaction to protect the non-party participant from risk of retaliatory physical or mental harm. However, the references made to that non-party participant during the October 24th, 2025 hearing offers the same but no additional information that can be found in the charging instrument and shared by law enforcement during a press conference. As a result, redacting those portions at this point is a moot issue. For the above reasons, the court orders the following: a transcript of the October 24th, 2025 hearing shall be redacted in accordance with this order and entered into the record, and the audio recording of the October 24th, 2025 hearing shall be unsealed for the purposes of the court clerk identifying the timestamps corresponding to the redacted portions of the transcript, which selected portions once identified shall be resealed. No copy of the unsealed audio shall be provided until the identified portions have been resealed. The court will sign this order today, and it will go into the record. Now, turning to the second issue. And the court now issues the following order regarding the media's request to intervene.
A lot of redactions, guys. Damn.
Two groups of media outlets seek to intervene in this matter. Only the state and the defendant, however, are actual parties to a criminal action. The press need not be a party to a criminal action to pursue the public's presumptive right to access public court records. The press has already been provided with a mechanism through Rule 4-202.04 to protect that right and has already utilized it in this matter. For this reason, the court denies both requests to intervene. The court now reiterates and clarifies its order requiring parties to serve all closure or reclassification motions on the media dated November 10th, 2025, as follows. Again, the parties are ordered to serve all closure motions on members of the press who have requested notice. The parties must file proof of service with the court. A closure motion is any motion to classify or reclassify a presumptively public court record under Rule 4-202.02 as any other classification. The parties need not serve notice on members of the press court records that are presumptively not public. A court record means a record that is prepared, owned, received, or retained by this court. This includes hearings. Therefore, the parties are ordered to serve all motions to closure hearings on members of the press who have requested notice. The parties must likewise file proof of service with the court. Nonetheless, the parties are not required to serve notice on members of the press of motions to limit electronic media coverage. If members of the media intend to object to a closure motion and request a closure hearing, such objections and requests must be filed within 7 days of receiving notice. To promote judicial economy and to eliminate unnecessary hearings, the court may decline to hold a closure hearing if no hearing is requested. The foregoing should be treated by the parties as a standing order for the duration of this case. And that concludes the second order of this case. The court wishes all parties a peaceful holiday season and hopes that each of you is able, to the extent possible, to spend time with your loved ones. The next hearing is set for January 16th at 1 p.m. And Mr. Robinson, I will see you there at that time. The court is now in recess.
Interesting. Okay, so let me see here. A lot of redactions. We will say that. But it's not like they're just like stopping the transcripts from actually being sent out. Now, one thing that I missed, maybe that was like said in the very, very beginning of it. That's the one thing, only I'm trying to find out. Does that mean, did he rule on cameras being in the courtroom or not? That's the one thing I'm trying to figure out and trying to find out. Hold on. What in the heck just happened here? What? Let me see here. I'm going to play the very beginning of it really quick.
Counsel, let's call the case.
And Tyler Robinson.
251.
And just so you know, Tyler Robinson is nowhere to be found from what I've seen, unless he's like, off camera somewhere. Interesting, right? But I'm still trying to find out, did they say cameras are allowed or not? Let's listen.
403-576, State of Utah versus Tyler James Robinson. Could the parties please enter their appearances?
Governor Christopher Ballard, Chad Grunander, Lauren Hunt, and David Sturgill on behalf of the state.
Good morning.
Catherine Nestor, Michael Bird, Richard Novak, and Stacy Visser on behalf of Mr. Robinson.
Good morning, counsel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jeff Hunt and David Ryman on behalf of the Deseret News, KSL, and other media interveners.
Good morning, Your Honor. Michael Judd on behalf of the Salt Lake Tribune and other media interveners.
Thank you, and good morning to you. Mr. Robinson, are you with us?
Yes, Your Honor.
And
So he is in he is in the room. He is present, okay? So that is very interesting, all right? He is there. I know some are thinking that he wasn't there at all, but he has somebody, at least some representation there. He may not be physically there, but he has somebody there representing him for this particular hearing, which I think is very interesting. So they say that he's there. He's just not on camera, right? So again, let's hear the rest of this.
Mr. Robinson, good morning to you as well. All right. The court appreciates the patience of the parties while it considered issues raised by the media interveners. An appropriate classification of the transcript and audio recording from the October 24th hearing. The court has taken the necessary time to conduct a careful, independent review of the written submissions, oral arguments, and applicable legal authorities, and to thoughtfully evaluate the matters presented. In doing so, the court has remained mindful of its duty to balance competing constitutional interests. Openness and transparency are foundational to our judicial system and essential to maintaining public confidence. At the same time, the public's right to access is qualified, not absolute, and may be limited when a legally sufficient justification exists. The court recognizes the substantial public interest in these proceedings and has approached its review with that interest firmly in mind. The court has independently reviewed the October 24th transcript and audio recording in its entirety in determining whether any restrictions on public access is warranted. The court considered whether such limitations are necessary to protect specific constitutional interests and whether less restrictive alternatives could adequately address those concerns. The carefully limited redactions ordered are narrowly tailored and designed to protect those interests while preserving the public's ability to understand the substance, context, and significance of the proceedings. By way of context, the transcript of the October 24th hearing consists of 83 pages, 80 of which contain verbatim record of the proceedings. Each page includes 25 lines of text, and the transcript reflects just over 2 hours of the courtroom proceedings.
You know what I find very interesting? Because, you guys are saying that, cameras are giving the thumbs up. I guess cameras are okay for this trial, which is a good thing. I will say that. That's a very, very good thing if that's 110% factual. But here's the thing. I think it's ridiculous that they're doing so much redaction. I will say that. I think that's kind of ridiculous. If you want full transparency, put it all out there. Now, I don't know exactly what all of that information that's in the transcriptions. I don't know what all of it entails, but that's the problem. You're redacting all of that stuff and not willing to tell us why those things are being redacted. You see what I'm saying? I think that's very fishy. To me, that's fishy. But if cameras are going to be allowed in the courtroom, hey, I will take that, I guess. Maybe the things that maybe the things that are being redacted will be exposed during the trial. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to play a little bit more, but yeah, guys, I'm fighting another cold. Welcome to my life. Shoot, I think like in the past 2 months, I've been healthy 1 week. It's been insane. Okay. And I've tried, don't worry, don't tell me you gotta do ginger, do this. I've tried everything. It's just these colds just keep coming in. I don't know what's going on. Okay. So got another cold. So we're just gonna have to go through it. All right, guys. It is what it is. I'm trying everything in my power to not get sick, but like I said, I'll be okay for like 3-4, maybe 3 to 5 days, and then I get hit with another one, right? And this is the third time in the span of a month that I've been hit with another cold over and over and over again. Yeah, it's it sucks. It sucks. So I'll be fine. I just need rest, but I don't have rest when the news be newsing. You feel me? So let us get into this. All right. But like I said, cameras in the courtroom. Hey, I'm happy about that. But the fact that they're redacting, like, he's going through like page 17, line 16 to 72. Those are redacted. These things are redacted as well. Like, oh my God, why is all that stuff redacted? You see what I'm saying? Just let it out. Transparency is king when it comes to this situation. Do you know how many people are losing their doggone minds right now on X? People are losing their minds. Let's not forget what Candace Owens is like, what kind of trail she's been on as of late. People are going after her. She is clapping back hard. It's been absolutely insane. The things that she's alleging that happened the day before Charlie Kirk lost his life. I mean, there's so many crazy things that have just been popping off to the point where you're like, all right. You really can't just sit there and say, oh, we just got to redact everything because we need to protect. Who are you trying to protect, man? Real talk. Whoops. That is still on. Wow. That's what I was trying to do. Who are you trying to protect, man? Who are you trying to protect? At some point, you have to let it all out. There are so many people. I'm even seeing in the chat. Yes, I see it. I seen it in the chat. All right. People in the chat are even sitting there going, no, they shouldn't be locking him up. He's not the one who did it. Erica Kirk's the one who did it, right? Now, I'm telling you this. This is insane. The theories and the speculations and all that. And this is the moment that we should all be hearing the proof, facts, the breadcrumbs that led to his surrendering, because he didn't really actually get caught. He surrendered himself, allegedly, right? So what are the breadcrumbs that led to him being the one who actually was on top of that roof pulling the trigger, right? Then also on top of that, did he work alone? Were there other people involved? Was there some sort of foreign entity or domestic entity that was involved in taking out Charlie Kirk? These are all things that we want to know, right? It's absolutely insane that they're even redacting even one word out of this situation. Let's not forget the trashy text messages that we saw between Tyler Robinson and his furry trans boyfriend, or Lavelle. Let's not forget that. They're able to expose all of that crap. But as far as the transcripts that they had, I guess, interrogation, interview, whatever it may be, they're redacting the hell out of that. Why? Yeah, and I don't, cold fact, I don't feel, something feels weird about those text messages. To me, they feel weird. Do I think that he didn't write those? I'm still on the fence. There's a possibility, because let's be real. There's a possibility that he's just weird. And how he talks to Twiggy, Lance Twiggs, he could literally be talking just like that. Their dialogue could be weird like that. There are plenty of weird people out here in this world that talk just like that. LARPing or something. You see what I'm saying? There are people out there that will literally live their life like they live in the medieval times, you know? Or they speak in a way to try to sound as intelligent as possible, but it sounds weird coming out of their face. You're like, why did you say it like that? You could have, why vehicle? You could have just said car. You could have said, why say retrieve when you could just say, I need to go get, right? There are plenty of strange people out here that talk weird. Or there's plenty of normal people that just talk weird. How's that? I'm trying to be fair because I'm not going to sit there and say people out here that talk this way are weird. That's rude. You know, that's a very blanketed, rude statement. There are plenty of people out here that like to use big words. Acetaminophen instead of Tylenol. You know what I'm saying? Just so that they sound intelligent or sound unique and different. Maybe that's a possibility. But it doesn't feel like it makes any sense. It just doesn't. How they gave us that information seems weird. Let's not forget the things that he scrolled onto the bullets. Ooh, right? If you're reading this, you're gay. I'm sorry. That's some old school, I feel like that's something from the 90s. You know what I'm saying? If you're reading this bullet, you're gay, right? Ooh, you, stuff like that. What's that all about? That makes no sense. Then let's not forget this other piece too, babies. Remember when he turned his ass in? Because he turned himself in. Feds and local PD were still scratching their heads going, if anyone's seen this weird fuzzy photo of a man that looks like his face just melted off, please contact us as soon as possible. Find us hit us up as soon as possible so we can bring this assailant, this monster to justice. Right? Remember all that crap? Mama allegedly was the one going, ooh, that's him. Oh, I know my son from anywhere. Husby, come here. That don't look like Ty. Well, honey, Mama Bear, it sure does look like Ty. And then they turned him in. But what's interesting about that piece is where's the footage of him turning himself in? Of the family walking him in to the actual precinct? Remember, I talked about this in another video. They said it doesn't exist. The fuck? I'm just saying. Here's the thing. Let me just say this really quick. Because we got to play both sides of the fence for a second, okay? Let us stretch our legs for a second with our brains. Here it is. Sure. Maybe they didn't record. Why wouldn't they, though? You see what I'm saying? Not one stitch of footage. You mean to tell me the security cameras that are inside the precinct weren't running at all times 24/7? Or they said, oops, we may have recorded over that? Say what again? What? You got a guy who allegedly did a terrible, terrible thing. In real time, the whole world saw Charlie Kirk lose his life. Brakaka. And you mean to tell me you didn't decide to say, maybe we should go into the archives of our security cam footage hard drives and cut out that piece so we have it to show proof positive of him turning himself in. At least that. But they didn't do that now, did they? There's no footage whatsoever of him turning himself in. If that's actually what he did. You see what I'm talking about here, right? You got text messages that make no sense. You got scrollings on bullets that make no sense. You got a young man, turning himself in, and there's no footage of that. And yet they say he did this. Do you understand how everybody and their mama is going ham sandwich on this crap? Why do you think everybody's wearing their Candace Owens hat right now as we speak? Because everyone's sitting here going, that just doesn't make any sense. Now, didn't Erica Kirk say it herself? Which this is one of the only things I actually agree with her on. I think it was Barry Weiss, asked her, so Why do you think people are coming up with all these crazy conspiracies about Charlie Kirk's assassin, right? And Erica Kirk said, because it's too simple. Because it's too easy. They could just be one guy scaling or walking up a flight of stairs, getting on top of a building, pulling the trigger, jumping off and running off. Because it can't be that simple. It's got to be much more complex than that. There's got to be some sort of James Bond, Ethan Hunt, Jason Bourne type of espionage going on here. It can't just be random dude that wants to walk up and brah for his level. Like this is all for the love of his mans. See what I done did? I did this for you, love. It is love. I love you, my furry lover. What? It can't be that simple. It just can't. Part of that I agree with. Maybe it can't be that simple. Maybe that's the reason why our brains can't fathom the idea of one person actually doing this unthinkable thing. Because it's just too simple. There's got to be something bigger than this, something deeper than this. It can't be as simple as Brian Harple, the head of security, and his security team done dropped the damn ball. Oh, let's not forget, local PD that was there to protect not only just Charlie Kirk, but everybody else in that vicinity, in that event. They all dropped the ball. All of them. Can't be that simple. It's got to be a choreographed, coordinated attempt or mission, right? I understand that. But it also could just be that simple. Like I say, I don't sit on the side of like what everything that Candace Owens is saying is just pristine. She's asking some very good questions, some viable questions. But is she right? Probably 80% of it that she's thrown on the wall is not going to stick. And she's somebody who's sitting here saying the same thing. It can't be that simple. This is Charlie Kirk we're talking about. It can't be that simple. Now imagine if this happened to some other bigger name, powerful entity, and it didn't happen to Charlie Kirk. I think we'd all have the same reaction. There'd be multitudes and multitudes of lives and videos and TikToks and shorts and reels going all day about conspirizing the idea of that particular big figure losing their life in this type of fashion. Because it can't be this simple, dagnabbit. That's what they're saying. They refuse to think that this is a simple story. I get it. But what if it is? What if it is just a simple story? I hate to say it. I know everybody wants it to be as thick as like a Tom Clancy book, a John Grisham book, just nice and thick, nice thick ass steak. But what if it's just a hamburger off the dollar menu from McDonald's? Think about that for a second. What if it's that simple, y'all? And I think that's one of the things that's making people so frustrated. Because in our minds, we're going, it can't be that simple. No. Don't tell me that just some kid, some amateur, not trained by some Israeli whatevers or the French or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's no way that just some random dude who has a trans furry leather named Lance Twiggs, you can't make this up. It's a joke. Literally. Goes up and does what he did. He has some sort of love for artillery, but he's not like some hardcore skilled individual. Some people are like, no, I refuse this. I refuse this to be true. I get it. Because it doesn't make sense. Yes, and Iggy, yeah, there's people out here that are saying that stuff too. Charlie Kirk is still alive. Come on. See, this is the problem. Everybody is living in a world where we live in a time where okay. Let me just say this. This is the one thing that really bothers me about whenever we look into like true crime cases, missing person cases, whodunit cases that we do on this show, on this platform. We talk about everything. So make sure you're hitting that like button, and of course, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell. But here's the thing. This is the one thing that I hate more than anything in the world when it comes to cases that are lingering, that haven't been solved quickly. They didn't get the culprit, they didn't get the guy, or they got a guy. In this situation, they got a guy, but people are refusing to believe that this is the guy. What's frustrating about this is that, and I've said this too a million times, idle minds is the conspiracy theorist plaything. When there's not a whole lot of information out there, but people are lingering and obsessing and wanting to know the truth that will suffice for them in a case that they're obsessing over, they start to make up things. Charlie Kirk, him dead. I'm sorry to say it like that, but he gone. The fact that there are people out there that will sit there and say that Charlie Kirk is still alive, hamburger. Where did that come from? We all saw the footage. We all saw the video, the one that we do not want to see. There are people out here still saying that he got electrocuted. No. He got hit with a bullet in the neck. He's gone. Okay, he has crossed over in the arms of an angel. He gone, guys. This is not like a bigger conspiracy theory than that he's out there living in some tropical island with Tupac, Biggie, and Elvis. Come on, guys. Come on now. Come on, y'all. Let's get back down to earth and get back down to the facts. And here's one of the facts that I believe. I believe that Tyler Robinson is the one that pulled the trigger. But do I think that he's the only one that's involved in this situation? No. I don't think he ran solo dolo. I really don't. I really do not think he ran solo dolo. But here's the thing. I get it. There are people out here that refuse to look at some of the information and see that as fact, because they're like, there's no way. It's got to be bigger than what it is. And it's like, hey, but what if it is? That still has to be on the table. Now, within my theory, him pulling the trigger, there's got to be a way that somebody helped him figure it all out. Like, there's something about it that seems a little bit too luck of the draw, too much like luck. But what if it is luck? You see what I'm saying? Luck, by what I mean is, he goes up, he finds the building, he walks up that flight of stairs, gets on top of there and says, yo, that's dope. That works. Right there, there's the tent. Shoot. Bob's your uncle, right? And then he goes back down. Goes back down. Comes back several hours later, hobbling like he got a peg leg. Real talk, because apparently he had stuffed the weapon into his pant leg, which is insane. But still, the question is, he stuffed it in his pant leg, but then there's footage of him going up flights of stairs, him being able to bend his knee. We've all seen the photos. So shouldn't he be hobbling his way up the stairs? So what's up with that? You see what I'm saying? The timeline is weird. But still, what if he scoped the place out, found the location that he wanted to go up to? The security dropped the ball by not doing what they needed to do, securing the areas. That's not only just on local PD, but also on Turning Point USA's security team. They dropped the ball big time. We've all seen that video. So he's able to go up there, set up, find the spot, then go back up, and then pull the trigger. What if it is that simple? What if? But I will say this. I don't think he operated alone. I do think that he is the one who pulled the trigger, but I do not think he operated alone. You have too many other factors that are added into the whole thing. You got people running out. You got people who are literally, as soon as he pulls the trigger, saying, hey, take me. I did it. I did it. Why would that guy do that? Why would any person say that? They arrested two different people before they actually arrested Tyler Robinson. Why? Like I said, I do not think he operated alone. And here's the other thing, too. I still feel like Twigs has something to do with this, y'all. I still feel like Twigs has some sort of connection to this whole thing. You mean to tell me that if the timeline is true about the things that were being said months, weeks before Charlie Kirk's demise, they're sitting there going, get ready for 9/10, September 10th, get ready. When it happens, you'll know. Why would any people put that kind of stuff out there weeks, months ahead of time, and they not be connected to the situation? Remember the whole theories and the conversations that people have been saying about him being on Discord, on some sort of Discord conversation with people. What if he was on some dark web site chat room where he's having these conversations with people plotting this whole thing out? Like I said, it's frustrating, guys. It's very frustrating. I get it. And I get the conspiracy theories. I get it to a certain extent. But we also got to come back down to reality and realize that, one, Charlie Kirk is gone. The family has his remains. Where they're going to put him, Erica Kirk, his wife, doesn't want to disclose that information. She said, that is for me. Why can't I have one thing? And if she just wants that one thing, okay. But he's gone, guys. If there's something bigger going on behind the person who pulled the trigger, I'm hoping that the likes of this courtroom will expose it all. But I don't know if they will. Yeah, guys, I said it. I don't know if they will. And the only other person that's willing to jump down deep into this rabbit hole is Candy O. Like I said, broken clock. She's the only one willing to try to see what the hell is going on here. The only one, as far as I'm concerned. But there's a lot of people that are now jumping on that bandwagon that are trying to push back at Candace Owens, which is very, very interesting as well. This thing is nuttier than a fruitcake. I swear to God. I didn't even know. You know that phrase? Are there nuts in fruitcakes? I didn't even know that. That's news to me. That's news to me. By the way, happy holidays to every single last one of y'all. Okay? Happy holidays. Hopefully your Christmas was wonderful. Missed you guys over the last couple days. Took some time off because obviously I've been sick once again. But again, appreciate all y'all for being here. And yes, Alex Jones, we could say his name. We don't need to use all these code words for his name. He's losing his doggone marbles as well over this situation. The king of conspiracy theory is losing his mind over Candace Owens. Real talk, that's wild. You'd think that'd be like, oh snap, she's making some great making some great allegations. Wow. Gay frogs. You know what I'm saying? You'd expect him, of all people, to be on the side of Candace Owens. Now, she's asking all the right questions. We need to be asking the questions too. But he's not. His team trying to throw it back at her and saying, no, she's lying. She's making these things up. It is a weird, wild roller coaster ride, like I said. Crazy. So, let me play a little bit more of this. Because if it starts going to like, okay, line 17 through 72, redact, then I'm going to stop. But let me just hear a little bit more, okay? Just a tiny bit more. Don't forget to hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Let me see this. Hold on. On Facebook, Joanna just said, and that post is so large, it's covering my face. So here it is. A lot of shady-ish, including the dude who was recording himself during the event and the dude who popped up cheering or whatever right after right after he pulled the trigger. Yes, that's true. When everyone was ducking down, people do crazy-ish. And that dude who said he did it probably spoke with Tyler so he could be a distraction for Tyler to get away. But then he was eating after he pulled the trigger on Charlie Kirk. That's true. People are crazy, including Erica. Yeah, okay. Woo! Now, Joanna, thank you so much for the comment all the way over on Facebook. I appreciate it. Let's talk about this, okay? In fact, I'm going to read some of you guys. We already know what's going on. There's a lot of redactions, and the cameras, it looks like, are going to be in the courtroom, which is great news. Okay. But nonetheless, because I want to read some of you guys' comments and everything. Somebody just said, I need under eye concealer. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. But anyway, moving on. Here's the thing. When it comes to all the pieces of information that came out, yes, it's weird that his partner or his coworker grabbed his phone and then started recording, being like, they shot Charlie. I don't know why you would do something like that. Of all things, why would you go and do this, right? As soon as somebody loses their life, especially your freaking boss, unless you're using that as an opportunity to go viral, which is wild to think at that split moment, that split second, you're going, ooh, I could get views off of this. Huh? Word? You're not concerned about your boss / friend, colleague, coworker, someone you worked with for years? But instead, you're pulling up your phone and going, they shot Charlie. He's gone. He's gone, guys. And filming it all? That seems a little bit weird to me. But here's the thing, though. We live in a world, by the way, just so you know, where everybody's thinking world star. I mean, it's not world star so much anymore, but you get what I'm saying. Viral moment. I'll put this on TikTok and I'll make a whole bunch of money and it'll get reused and reposted and all that. I'll be the first one to break the news. Why would somebody do something like that? Think about that for a second. It makes no sense. It makes no earthly sense, right? Am I right or am I right? It makes no earthly sense. Why would you do something like that, right? Then the other guy that said, oh yeah, I did it, me, right? Makes no sense. But I feel like he's connected in some strange way. Because why would a guy go out of his way to sit there and say, oh yeah, arrest me, I did it, take my life, I did it. Why? That makes no sense. Then the guy who stood up and was cheering as soon as Charlie Kirk got hit, that was insane. Okay, first off, that's insane. Second, does that automatically mean that he's connected to the whole thing? I don't know. He could just be a butthole doing that because he was excited about Charlie Kirk getting hit. His excuse was trash. Let's not forget that. His excuse was, well, you know, I was trying to distract the shooter. Remember that? That's what I was doing. I jumped up and did all this. I just went into savior mode, hero mode. Huh? That makes no earthly sense. A lot of pieces here don't make sense. The breadcrumbs don't make sense. Again, like I said, let me repeat this one more again. You saw two different pieces of footage. One of Tyler Robinson walking down the street, same street. There's two different shots. He's walking down the street hours before this tragedy, before this event with TPUSA and Charlie Kirk. And he's walking normally, totally different clothes, etc. Then hours later, you see him walking down the street again, same street, but this time he's hobbling like he's got a peg leg. Real talk. And what people are theorizing, what we all have been theorizing, is that he's got the weapon, the long rifle, in his pant leg, meaning that he did not dismantle it. He did not dismantle it. So if he didn't dismantle it, yet there's footage of him walking upstairs, going into, the building, and he's walking just fine, I'm going to have to pull up the photo just so you can see for yourself. It doesn't make sense. So he dismantled it again, then he put it where? You see what I'm saying? So then he got up there, he put it together, he pulled the trigger, and then there's some are saying that he literally dismantled it, wrapped it up in a towel, jumped off the building, which we saw the footage of him jumping off the building, running off somewhere, stuffing it in some bushes in a wooded area near like a condo area, and then he kicked rocks. And then after that, he goes and he hangs out at a mother-loving Dairy Queen whilst texting his mans, "Hello, my love. Must stick around a little bit longer. I shall return to my love, but I must retrieve Paul's rifle. He cherishes it very much. But law enforcement is still lurking in the premises. I must wait a few more hours before I can come back into your furry little arms, my love." These are text messages that were coming from Tyler Robb. Huh? Weird. Which, here it is, though. I totally understand why everybody's side-eyeing the timeline and the evidence that has been put out. Let's not forget also, Cash Patel has really dropped the ball. Not only in just this case, but so many other cases as well. Let's not forget that too. Insane. Okay. Let me get some of these comments here. Let me see. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, Pumpkin McSpicy just said, insane. I think it takes two separate tools to put together and finagle that weapon. No, honestly, I don't know that information. And if that is the case, that would be insane. Again, I need to pull up the photo. Hold on. Give me a second, because I want you guys to see this photo. And I'm talking about the surveillance footage, the surveillance photos of the first sighting of Tyler Robinson. Okay. Hold on. Because I think we need to see these photos one more again. He is clearly, if if I'm correct, you could see in these photos. Hold up. In these photos, dagnabbit. Let me just download this photo. But you can see in these photos, guys, he is literally walking just fine. So he must have, there's two different options here. Two different options. Here it is. Boom. Two different options. We got two options here, all right? We don't know when these photos were actually, or like these surveillance images of this guy were taken. We don't know when these were taken. That's one thing that's very important. But one thing's for sure. If this is at all, any of them are at all at the time when he was escaping or the time when he's walking towards the place, the fact that there's footage of him walking like he's got a peg leg doesn't make any sense. Because he'd still be walking with a stiff leg in this area right here too, if this is before the shot was taken. Unless this is right after he had jumped off the building and then hid the rifle, and then he was trying to act like he was a normal guy. But if this is before the trigger was pulled, this doesn't make any sense. Because the footage that they showed us is him hobbling around. Unless in some weird, strange way, he dismantled the rifle or he set up his shot, went down to, I don't know, maybe grab a Coke or something like that, and went back upstairs. I just don't know. It just doesn't make sense, right? But they also said that he changed his clothes at some point, that he got out of these clothes that we're seeing here too. So when are these photos taken? Before or after the shot was made? And I mean, you look at this. Why does his face look like it's like a Halloween mask that got a little too close to the fire? A full-on melted face. Or like it's a mask of a monkey that got all the hair shaved off. Just strange to me. It's just strange. Yeah, I know a lot of people are going to be like, AI. I don't know about the AI. But what I will say is that you'd think that we live in a time where they're able to, we have such advancements in technology as of late. You know how like when you see Sasquatch and it always seems to be really crappy, fuzzy, ugly ass, grainy, glitzy type of footage. And you're like, damn, we got cameras, we got phones that shoot damn near perfectly at night sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like these cameras are out of this world. You'd think that during the day, they'd be able to capture a better footage of something like this. It's like they just found Sasquatch. But like, trust me, that no. Yes, I know the face is all glitzy and weird, but that's Sasquatch. Trust me, no, that's not a man walking around in stilts wearing all fur. No. That be Sasquatch. I saw with my own two eyes. Ain't that funny? UFO footage always looks like trash. It's always shaky. Can't see something that's just pristine and perfect. With all the cameras that we got, always seems like they pull out the camcorder from like 1980. Come on now. It's annoying. It's annoying, but at the same time, you'd think that they'd be a little bit better at holding it down and getting the stuff done, right? So, here it is, guys. Hold on, guys. Ooh, hold on. What is this? This is a totally different angle. Take a look at this. This is from the hearing as well. This is a completely different hearing or a completely different angle. Hold on.
Not absolute, and may be limited when a legally sufficient justification exists. The court recognizes the substantial public interest in these proceedings and has approached its review with that interest firmly in mind. The court has independently reviewed the October 24th transcript and audio recording in its entirety in determining whether any restrictions on public access is warranted. The court considered whether such limitations are necessary to protect specific constitutional interests and whether less restrictive alternatives could adequately address those concerns. The carefully limited redactions ordered are narrowly tailored and designed to protect those interests while preserving the public's ability to understand the substance, context, and significance of the proceedings. By way of context, the transcript of the October 24th hearing consists of 83 pages, 80 of which contain verbatim record of the proceedings. Each page includes 25 lines of text, and the transcript reflects just over 2 hours of the courtroom proceedings. The duration of the hearings was 2 hours and 19 minutes. The closed hearing held on December 11th included detailed arguments from defense, prosecution, and counsel for the news media regarding what portions of the record should remain private and what should be made public. That hearing likewise lasted nearly 2 hours, during which time counsel addressed these issues carefully, line by line and word by word. The court acknowledges and appreciates the diligence, professionalism, and preparation demonstrated by all parties during both hearings. After full consideration of these arguments, the court determined that 246 words, approximately 1 page of the 80-page transcript, should be redacted. No other portions of the transcript were found to warrant restriction.
Interesting. So I'm reading off screen here. They're saying, of course, he ruled, like we're hearing right now, that they will be released. Of course, this transcript of a hearing that they had in October, okay, will indeed be released, like we're hearing right now. But of course, we're hearing that he's going to be redacting portions of the hearing that dealt with discussing security measures for court appearances for Tyler Robinson. So security measures for court. So the hearing that dealt with the discussing the security measures for court appearances for Tyler Robinson, I mean, that's interesting. I will say that. Of course, I'd rather just have it all out. I don't know why they need to redact security measures for court appearances for Tyler Robinson. I don't understand why they need to redact that stuff. But okay, as long as that stuff is really the only thing that's going to be redacted. You see what I'm saying? But if we're going to have another Epstein situation on our hands, then I'm not here for it. And I don't think any of y'all are as well. So I'm hoping that they don't mess with stuff. So the judge rejected a defense request to seal other parts of the hearing transcript, which is good news. Yay. Ruling that some of the information has already been made public by prosecutors in charging documents or in the news or in news conferences. So a lot of the stuff that we're going to be hearing in that isn't going to be redacted are things that we've already heard before. So that's good too. That's good news. Okay. So it's not like they're hiding a whole lot, but we'll see. Judge Graff, which is of course the judge's name, rejected a motion by news media outlets to be granted. So they rejected a motion by news media outlets to be granted intervener status in the case. That would mean notification of any intent to close hearings and seal records. Instead, he ordered prosecutors and defense attorneys to serve some notice if there's going to be a closed hearing. If there is any legal motions to restrict cameras in courtrooms or things like that, news media outlets would need to watch the public docket and then file motions within 7 days to make arguments against it. Interesting. So, So they say that the media presence at Utah hearings is already limited, with judges often designating one photographer and one videographer to document a hearing and share their images with other news organizations. Additional journalists can typically attend to listen and take notes, as can members of the public. So there might be a situation where he said previously they intend to seek to the attorneys. Tyler Robinson's attorneys said that they previously intend to seek a ban of cameras from the courtroom for future hearings. Prosecutors have charged Robinson with aggravated murder in the September 10th shooting of Charlie Kirk, which we already know. And of course, they're trying to hide or trying to push those cameras out of the room. But there's still a possibility of them having at least one camera and one journalist in there, right? Now, if that's the case, this is going to be very interesting to see what happens in the next, when we actually go to trial. Let's not forget, the trial isn't for a good long time from now. The trial itself will be a while from now, another year, right? I think it's going to be late of 2026. So we'll see what happens here, right? But nonetheless, I don't think that this judge is going to tell them. I don't think he's going to side on the side of the defense. I'll just say that. I don't think he's going to sit there and go, nope, no cameras. There's too much heat and too much need for transparency with this trial. And I will also say this too. If there aren't going to be any cameras in that room, you know for damn sure there's going to be somebody, some reporter that's going to be live tweeting every single thing, like a live transcript tweet of what's going on in that trial. And you know we're going to read that and talk about that for sure. Okay? We will definitely talk about that for sure. But let's take a look at some stuff here. Hold on. Actually, hold on.
Counsel, let's call the case. Calling case 251-403-576, State of Utah versus Tyler James Robinson. Could the parties please enter their appearances?
Is it
Christopher Ballard, Chad Grunander, Lauren Hunt?
Sorry about that. I thought that was going to be news. You know what I mean? Hold on.
Like I said, keeping his head down, going to work every week.
Trevor, is there a sense that the standard?
Nope.
Counsel,
Nope.
By all parties during both. Counsel, let's call the case. Calling case 251.
Hold on, guys. Sorry. Uno momento.
The suspect accused of
Okay. No.
fatally shooting conservative activist Charlie Kirk is back in court right now. The suspect's lawyers and the Utah County Sheriff's Office have asked the court to ban cameras from the hearings, but now local and national news organizations are asking for access. Now, the suspect is facing 7 felony counts, including aggravated murder in the September killing of Kirk at the event in Orem, Utah. We want to bring in ABC News contributor and trial attorney Brian Buckmeyer for more on this. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Faith. How you doing?
Hey, so these media companies, they filed this motion that they're seeking a limited party status. What exactly does that mean?
So a limited party status is when a party who is not at the center of a proceeding, the people in the center of a proceeding here would be the state of Utah, and Tyler Robinson says that there's a specific interest and a very unique outcome of that case, and they want limited status so they can argue or advance their case. In this situation, you have the media who is neither the state of Utah nor the criminal defendant saying, hey, we have an interest here to televise and show the public this very public proceeding, which is supposed to be public proceeding based on the First Amendment. So give us limited status so we can make that argument, so we can publicize this hearing in this case.
So when a motion like this is filed, what factors are typically considered in whether to allow access in the case to the media?
So it's a competition between two interests. You have the First Amendment right to have a public proceeding for a criminal case like this, where we all, as individuals of this country, have a right to view what's going on in this trial, but also the individual constitutional right to the criminal defendant. And we're hearing both played out by both sides, the defense attorney and the media lawyers. The media lawyers saying that this is a public case, is a high-profile case. We're all talking about it. A very prominent figure was assassinated. The world and the country has a right to hear about it. But the defense is saying that this could taint the potential jury pool and deny Robinson a fair and impartial jury. The judge will take both interests and try to figure out what kind of compromise can be made.
And as I mentioned earlier, the suspect is back in court. So what are you watching for as an attorney?
So right now, we're pretty early on in the case. I want to see what motions and arguments are going to be made. Like we saw a few weeks ago, the Luigi Mangione case and the suppression hearing, what type of evidence is the defense going to try to kick out of this case to try to make a better argument? We know the prosecution is seeking the death penalty here. Oftentimes in death penalty cases, the extreme focus by the defense is trying to get the death penalty off the table. What arguments are going to be made about that? Are we going to hear about mental health? Are we going to hear about suppression? Are we going to hear about key evidence? What's the trajectory of this case? That's what I'm looking to listen to.
You know what's interesting that I'm not looking forward to? I'm not looking forward to the excuse, if they're going to use the excuse of mental health. Like, we're already hearing that with the Rob Reiner, Michelle Reiner tragedy, right? Nick Reiner obviously did this to his parents. Why he did that to his parents, we don't know. There's already conversations about him taking substances, or, they were changing out his meds. And that's why this whole thing went down, right? That's why he went bonkers. When in actuality, there was a trail of stuff. A trail of stuff showing that he was a very vicious individual, right? So we've already heard about all that crap. So if they are to literally lean on Tyler Robinson had mental health issues, please miss me with that nonsense. Please miss me with that nonsense. If that's the case, I hope to God that's not the case. But wilder things have happened. Because here, I don't know. The insanity plea, I feel, only works in certain cases. But in this one, if they were to lean on something like, oh yeah, this is some sort of mental health issue, so on and so forth, la 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 la, I just really don't see it working at all. Now, I have to show this to you guys. First, I got to find it. It won't take very long. But there is a video that people have been sharing quite a bit. Hold on.
Hey, Erica, what about...
Okay. First and foremost, there is something... Okay, hold on. I got to find it. Give me a second, guys. Has to do with Erica Kirk. You already heard a little bit of the start of this video that I'm going to share with y'all. It's pretty insane. It's pretty insane. Let me see this. Hold on. And it's getting shared like crazy, this video. And of course, I didn't see you. I didn't talk to you guys over the last couple of days. But there's some really nutty things that have been going on. And the funny thing is I pointed this out before. And then somebody did this. She did her due diligence, did a whole tweet, or not a tweet, I'm sorry, did a whole TikTok about this thing. And it went uber viral. Okay. Like crazy viral, this whole thing. So just give me a second, because there's a couple things I want to share with y'all with this. First and foremost, there is a clip that I even was roasting, which was insane. In my personal opinion, you got a girl during her town hall meeting, during her town hall video. If you guys remember this at all, she was up there. She was doing her thing. She was getting asked a whole bunch of things. And I feel like she was falling apart. I think that and it's crazy because this whole thing was vetted specifically to make her look a certain way. You got to remember, she is the face and the CEO of TPUSA. One thing is for sure. She fell on her face with this one. I'm going to say it. I know some of you guys are probably not Tyler Robinson. Some of you guys, I'm sure, are Erica Kirk supporters and fans. But something about this is wild. They were trying to vet her. I think Barry Weiss was using this as an opportunity to get Erica Kirk an opportunity to get a leg up in the political realm. Why would she have a town hall meeting? She is not some known political pundit. She is not running for office, or at least she wasn't at that time. I'm sure she had no interest in doing anything of being some sort of public figure in that kind of way until Charlie Kirk lost his life, right? And now that she is thrust into the forefront, into the spotlight of being the leader of TPUSA, and of course being the widow of Charlie Kirk, they've been using this as an opportunity to wrap everything up in a bow, to put her out there as the new name and the new voice of not only just TPUSA, but also MAGA. But this right here, though, made no earthly sense to me. And I feel like this was tailored specifically, and we got some things to talk about. Oh, we got some things to talk about. Oh, my God. We got some things to talk about here, okay? Let me tell you this. This is all for MAGA women. Yes, yes. The women. Yes. For all you MAGA hat-wearing, mother-loving females. Looking all good in your MAGA hats and whatnot. Trump memorabilia and all of that. This is for you. So you got a woman who lives in New York. Good, strong Christian woman. You know what I'm saying? Let me mop my brow real quick. The Lord brought her into this room for a reason. Okay, I want to say that to y'all. I tell you what. She came into this room to talk about mans. Yeah. She came into this room to talk about where she can find a man. Everything else is about gun control, Israel, Charlie Kirk, all of this other stuff. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, left turn. Girl comes up and goes, where can I find a man? Take a listen to this crap. This is insane. This was tailored specifically. This is for the MAGA women, though. This is for you women's.
When I lived out here, I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was. Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than go. I don't drink. I find it unproductive, not because I'm holier than whatever. I just don't operate that way. But I always thought it was very strange how she would go to drinks with one guy and then go to dinner with another. My situation was a little different. I wouldn't do it.
You went to a job interview.
Literally. So this is how good the Lord is. He knew that because I was not dating in New York City, he knew that in order for me to know that that was my man, he had to blanket Charlie as a job interview. Because if that went in, no joke, if he came to me and said, hey, let's go on a date to Bill's Burgers, I'd be like,
Okay. You heard that, right? You heard that, right? Okay, there's more. But what's interesting is what she said there. Because the girl goes, I'm having a hard time in New York. How do you find a good Christian man? And then she explains, like, I didn't do nothing like that. I was too busy drinking Perrier and reading the Bible. Going to church and reading the Bible, right? Okay. She said all that. Okay. Well, it's interesting because as much as she says that she was out here not dating, not gallivanting with a whole bunch of scallywags, indeed she actually was, though. Yikes. Let's take a look. This is a video that is going viral right now as we speak. Like millions and millions of views because this girl called her out big time. Take a look at this. This is insane.
Hey, Erica, what about the guys you dated before Charlie?
I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was.
You were proposed to by Charlie in 2020. You started dating him in 2018. And 3 years before that, you were dating this guy, Tyler Massey. I mean, you guys would do couples photo shoots.
Okay, I don't know anybody else that's doing couple photos with a guy that they're not taking seriously. I'm just letting you know. I don't know anybody who's out here like, like we're just casually dating, but let's take some photos together as a couple and put them on Instagram. You know how that's serious, right? Am I the only one that sees that as serious? Maybe other people act differently out here in these streets. But last I checked, you going out here and taking photos with like my man at that time. Love you. You know what I mean? And it's kind of barn-ish, out there in the woods. This is very relationship status. You see what I'm saying? This is very relationship status. But here's the thing, though. Let me just make this abundantly clear. Just because she was in a relationship with somebody years before she met Charlie Kirk, like I said, I'm playing devil's advocate here, doesn't automatically mean that she was out here just jumping on every single dude that she could, right? But let's continue. But that's a serious relationship. You're not taking photos unless that's a modeling gig, but you're not posting it saying like, ooh, love my guy. You know what I'm saying?
This is still online. And this is only 3 years before you started dating Charlie.
He's in heaven.
Yeah, and 2 years later, you were dating this guy, Cabot Phillips, and here he is.
Wait, hold on. She said 2 years before that? No, baby, no.
Yeah, and 2 years later, you were dating this guy, Cabot Phillips, and here he is posting you guys on his public page saying, yes, we're that couple who gets painting lessons together. Again, this is a year before you started dating Charlie, and well within the 5-year period, you claim to have never dated anyone, but you were out here dissing your roommate for dating.
I always thought it was very strange how she would go to drinks with one guy and then go to dinner with another. Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than I don't drink. I find it unproductive.
Why are you here drinking and dating on a reality show that actually was filmed the year you met Charlie? So you obviously were dating. So I'm not understanding your timeline. I mean, you're talking to a guy here who's asking you out.
Okay, hold on. Let me, because again, I'm going to come to Erica Kirk's defense when need be. So let me just say this really quick. Just because she's drinking on a show, first off, doesn't mean that she's actually drinking anything. She could literally be saying, hey, I do not drink. And they're like, okay, that's fine. We could give you something that, we can just give you, like a mocktail. I think that's what people call it nowadays. We'll just give you We'll give you a drink that looks like what everybody else is drinking. And it's not like she's getting white girl wasted on the show. So with all due respect, that's the only pushback I have to say about this. Just because she doesn't drink doesn't mean that she doesn't drink. Does that make sense? Just because she doesn't, it means that maybe she doesn't party like that. She doesn't just go and, she's doing cake stands and going crazy, doing shot after shot after shot. She might just be, have a libation every once in a while. That's okay. I don't think that's hypocritical. That's the only pushback I have on this video. That's the only one. Because I'm like, there's plenty of people that, look at actors that when they're in movies, they're acting like they're drinking crazy, amounts of whiskey when it's actually like watered down soda. Real talk. They do it all the time. So again, what if that's the case here? Just saying that out loud, asking for friends.
On a date and you're taking his number? And here you are on your date.
I've honestly spent the majority of my life being one of the most sought after bachelors.
Oh my God. Even just that guy going, I'm just amazing. I just want you to know that I'm amazing and everybody wants to bone me. Everybody wants to bone me. Because I'm so good looking with my tan and my white teeth. Shut up. Shut up. But that had to be put in this video. Oh, my God. Oh, and I bet you he's still single. Moving on, though.
Great. But I'm just really excited to spend some one-on-one time with Erica. I really do like her, and I'm excited to get to know her a little bit more.
Erica, hello? I just want to understand how you so confidently lied to our faces when this footage was on national television, and you know the footage is out there. The pictures of your boyfriends that you dated are still public online, and you know that, but you still lie like this.
Stop.
Wait, isn't Cabot Phillips your ex-boyfriend? Why is he now the speaker of Turning Point USA?
Oh, my God. This is the bad part right here. Oh, have mercy. Have mercy on all of our souls. No, this is not good. This part doesn't make sense to me. But do I think that there's something sinister going on? No. But I do think it's weird that the guy that she used to bump uglies with is also part of Turning Point USA as well. This is weird. Is that not weird? That's weird. Okay. That's weird. And so she was on a dating show. It looked like a dating show. I don't even know what the kind of show that was. I don't know what kind of dating show that was. Okay. But I don't think it was as bad, like, I don't know what kind of show it was. There's certain type of dating shows that are just raunchy, right? Where they're just trying to be as sexually provocative and as slutty as they can, you know what I mean? Just to get views and people tuning in and all that. But it doesn't seem like that was that kind of dating show. It just doesn't. It seems very cleaner than what I've seen before. Have y'all seen Fifth Wheel? Oh my God. Anybody remember that show, Fifth Wheel? That show was ratchet. Nobody remember that show, Fifth Wheel? That's a deep cut, y'all. That is a deep cut, okay? So it was a reality show? So she was on a reality show. Okay. To me, it seems like so far, okay, one, yes, she's saying certain things like, I didn't date like that. Well, yeah, you were on a dating show and you were definitely dating. You were definitely dating other dudes and other dudes that were connected to Turning Point USA. To me, I see this as a situation where she is literally, oh, dear God. I'm going to say it, but it gives me the vibe of her just trying to climb the ranks. But it gives me the vibe of maybe she's trying to, she's dating up. Does that make sense? That she's dating this guy, then she meets Cabot, then she dates Cabot, then suddenly she meets her future husband, Charlie Kirk, and then now she's with Charlie Kirk. I mean, she's in music videos with a tramp stamp, baby, with a tramp stamp. Have mercy. Now, the stamp, sorry for saying it that way, because I know some of y'all would be like, tramp stamp, how dare you say that? But the stamp that's right above the butt, small, the back, right above the crack of the A. Yeah. Apparently she has one too. Very godly, if you ask me. But still. Still, though. I think she had some wayward ways. And then maybe later she found the Lord. Or maybe she was out there having fun, dating, doing her thing, la, 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 gallivanting with a whole bunch of different scallywags with the Lord adjacent. And then finally, she meets the like of Charlie Kirk, and he inspires her to be more one with God. Think about that. So maybe she was faith adjacent, right? The Lord adjacent, but still going out here trying to be young and, having fun. But also climbing the ranks of the people that she was dating. She could very well just be straight up, oh, good God, an opportunist. And then she found the guy. Very well-to-do guy. Very God-focused guy. Very successful guy. And she held on for dear life. Because she clearly was in these, we're going to see in a second. She was clearly in these music videos. She was clearly all up in these shows. She was what was it? A Miss something, right? She was like a pageant queen of some sort, right? That she won, right? So clearly she liked the attention. You're not doing pageantry. You're not doing pageantry if you don't like attention. I ain't never met nobody that was like, no, I don't want people to look at me. But then they win or they run or compete in pageants. I ain't never met nobody like that ever. Have you? I'm not, stop. I'm not pretty. I don't want to be in any of these things. Here she comes, Miss America. Like, does that make sense? I've never seen that in my life. You got to have a certain level of confidence within yourself that this little light of mine, right, is just going to shine, 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 right? No, you're not doing that. If no, you're not doing that, guys. I'm just going to keep it real. You're not doing that. You're not. All up in the videos. Oh, my God. All up in the videos with the tramp stamp. Dating all these kind of guys, slowly but surely. It looks like she's climbing the ranks, and then she finally gets herself some Charlie Kirk. It's interesting. But is she a garden tool? No, I don't think so. I see her as somebody who's using this as an opportunity to get a leg up. That's not good when I'm talking about her dating other men, but you get what I'm saying. Okay? Yeah, she got a tramp stamp. Take a look.
Leading speeches of how to lead like Charlie. What's going on, Erica?
Stop.
He's also the senior editor for the Daily Wire, the one outlet that your husband was having active beef with.
Ay. My face is about to melt off. That's insane, by the way. Senior editor of the Daily Wire, which is also interesting because didn't Ben Shapiro go up and do a speech at the Turning Point USA event just recently, America Fest? Did he not just do that? He's the head, the face of the Daily Wire. Same dude that she was, we don't know if she was bumping uglies with. Okay. But she was at least studying the scripture with him. Okay. Is also the head editor of the Daily Wire. What in the F is going on here?
At the time, connected to Netanyahu. So
stop.
Right. So what else are you lying about? Because you're a liar. Point blank, period. You're a liar. And we just proved that. So this is still publicly accessible on social media. And you lied about that. You also lied about dating, but you were on a reality show dating the same year you met Jesse. You know what I mean? What else are you lying about? Like bigger things? Are you lying about bigger things? Because this is small and you'd really easily with like a straight face, you lie. So like what, because sure.
Stop.
Hey, Erica, what about the...
Okay. I thought the tramp stamp thing was in here, but it's not. I was wrong, but I'm going to find it. But it is weird. I will say that it is weird. Her timeline in dating. Now, I will say this, just because he was out here dating does not automatically mean that she's a bad person. But the fact that she's sitting here saying, I didn't date like that. I didn't date. Maybe she just was in one monogamous relationship after the other. Like I said, we got to look at the situation and look at both sides. But yes, she is literally saying in that interview, I didn't go out like that. I didn't do it like that. I didn't roll like that. When in actuality, she was in full-on relationships with people. So it's interesting when you hear that. And of course, I understand why some people are going to react in a way being like, yo, you said one thing, but you're doing something completely different. And the reason why I think that they're doing all that, or her team, herself, decided to do all that crap, you want to know why? It's for the ladies. Yes. This is all for the ladies. You want to know something else? Okay. I truly think that hold on. I truly think that this situation was for the ladies as well. This little moment right here where we have Nicki Minaj coming out, sitting down and being like, yes, you know, Trump is so sexy. He is so sexy. And J.D. Vance, he is an assassin. Oh. Sorry. She said all that stuff. They brought her on here for a very specific reason. And this was for the ladies too. Yes. I know some of you go, don't say that. Don't say that at all. But it is. It's for the ladies. Who's listening to Nicki Minaj? I'm telling you right now, sure, there's straight men that are sitting there bobbing their heads to some super bass when it plays, okay? Or a song where she's featured on it with like Chris Brown or something like that. Sure, okay? Sure, but it's the ladies. Majority of her barbs are consisted of what? Of whom? Women and members of the LGBTQ plus IA community. Sure, you're going to have a sprinkle of a few dudes in there because she can rap. She definitely can rap. She got bars. But I'm telling you right now, if Nicki Minaj was coming into town for me, I'm not sitting there going, oh, snap, Nicki Minaj is going to be in the crib. Oh, snap, she's going to be in town? We got to buy that ticket. No. Majority of the time, guys are buying the tickets for their ladies and going, yeah, well, I'll go with you. Yeah. She good. She got some bops. She got some hits. But majority of the people that listen to her music, ladies. I'm just being real. Ladies and gay men, yeah, sure. But think about that. This entire time, I thought about this earlier. Because I was like rewatching some clips, and there's something else I want to share with you about Nicki Minaj, which is insane. There's been quite a very guttural reaction to her being here on TPUSA, which is insane and kind of sad if you think about it. I'll explain here in a little bit. But as I was sitting there thinking about this, I was like, damn, you know what? This is all catered towards women. This whole thing is trying to get more female listeners, female fans, female supporters, more people in the female demographic to come in and be a part of TPUSA. Because you got to remember, Charlie Kirk gone. And what he had were young men. That's what they were catering to for the most part, right? Men are the decision makers. Women should be staying should be staying in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant type stuff, right? Of course, this is just a very blanketed statement here, okay? They must listen to their husbands and let their men lead. Follow their men, right? But here's the thing. Now Papa Bear gone and Mama Bear running the house. So what do you think is happening? What do you think is happening? Young male listeners are probably dropping like flies because the main guy ain't there anymore. She's the head person in charge, and she's female. And there's a lot of people that are going to be like, nah, man, I like Charlie Kirk, what he used to say. And then they venture off and they look for somebody else, like a Nick Fuentes or something like that. Or they go and listen to like a Ben Shapiro if they want to listen to him. Maybe they don't like him because he's Jewish. I don't know. But they'll go and try to find somebody else to listen to that are saying things that they like to listen to. But now that she is running things, they have to change. They have to shift on a dime while they make a dime. Right? So, if you notice, you bring in somebody like Nicki Minaj. And yes, we already talked about this ad nauseum, but I can't help but bring this up. This is all catered to make a shift. It's all catered to make that shift smoothly. I think this is really sad that you bring in somebody like Nicki Minaj. And this happens every year. Happens every single year, especially in the conservative sphere. In the conservative demographic. They'll bring in one person, one particular person that's an outlier of their culture or whatnot. And they will bring them on and they go, hey, look, they agree with everything that we have to say. Ain't that person amazing? What's your name again? Nicki Minaj. Minaj? Manage? What is it? You see what Nicole said? Nikki said she got it all on point. See? Look at her. Do a 360 so everybody knows that you're real. She ain't 3D. She ain't a hologram, baby. That's a real person that is saying everything that all the talking points that we want, that she wants to talk, that she agrees with us about. Ain't she amazing? Don't you notice? And I truly do think that this has something bigger going on. This Nicki is doing something. But it's sad because she has to shuck and jive for whatever it is that she's trying to get to make happen. That's sad. But what's also really sad is that we live in a world where the people who listen to her music, this is the sad part that we live, the sad reality of what we have to deal with is that we live in a world where there is a good portion of the world that don't like to think for themselves. Yeah, I said it. And I say this all the time. This is the platform in which I say it all the time. Think for yourself. Be independent. Think for yourself. And I'm not sitting here saying be politically independent. All I'm saying is think for your mother-loving self. Be independent. If you want to be Republican, be Republican. If you want to be Democrat, you can be Democrat. If you want to be independent, be independent. I don't give a damn. Just do it because you're thinking for yourself and you go, yes, I agree with these ideologies. I agree with this narrative. I agree with how things are being run or what they'd like to do with this country or with this world. I agree with this. I don't agree with that because of X, Y, and Z, not because of what's being said by some sort of celebrity, y'all. I said it. I don't care. The fact that you got a celebrity out here saying, oh yeah, very beautiful, sexy, very handsome Donald Trump, when in actuality, a few years before that, she's saying F Trump, F that dude. She's saying it live on stage. We should not be holding these celebrities at such high regard. Do you realize how crazy they all are? Yep. They crazy. And maybe some of them are willing to turn on a dime for their own financial or for their own personal needs. So when you see somebody like this and you got Erica Kirk going the entire damn time, something smells off. It does. And I feel sad. I feel bad for the likes of Nicki Minaj. Why? Because she just destroyed her career. That's what I think. For her brother, for her husband, I don't know. For a couple $1 million in the bank, I don't know. But something is not right here. And the fact that there are people out here like Turning Point USA, like MAGA, like, shoot, I'll even say it's on the left as well. It happens on the left as well. You got Kamala Harris bringing the likes of, like, I don't know, J-Lo on to speak. And all of a sudden it's like, or Megan Thee Stallion up on the stage to be like, vote for Kamala as she's twerking and stuff. Okay. Honestly, we should not be that dumb. We are all smart, right? We are all independently thinking individuals, and we're all geniuses. Y'all are all geniuses in the chat. Y'all are all freaking smart. But unfortunately, we live in a world where as soon as you got somebody like, I don't know if you have like Tom Cruise suddenly show up out of nowhere being like, let's just say he says, vote for Trump. That everybody who's a Tom Cruise fan is going to be like, oh, well, because Tom Cruise said vote for Trump, I'm going to vote for Trump now too. Are we really that dumb? Are we really that easily manipulated? You know, we should be looking at this situation, this whole Nicki Minaj situation, as a farce. This should be a parody. This should be something that we should be laughing at and be like, ha, that's not going to change my thoughts on how I vote tomorrow. You mean to tell me because Nicki Minaj, has a few hits and has the name and I've listened to her music before, that suddenly changes my thoughts on how I stand here as a human being in this world and what I look at as faith or what I don't think is faithful? Do you really mean to tell me that as soon as she shows up on a show like this or a platform, an event like this, that suddenly I go, oh yeah, Nicki Minaj says all these great things about whatever they told her to say, I must follow. Because this artist who's made some songs knows exactly what's good for me and mine's. You notice? And I feel like this happens a lot with black entertainers. I'm going to say it. I don't care. They will sit there and they will parade that mother lover around. See what they did to Kanye? Remember what happened before? Showed up at the White House, was in the Oval Office, literally stroking Trump, practically jumping into his lap. Cameras are all up in that place. Look, see, Kanye West, big, huge superstar, genius music producer and artist. Look at him. Look at him giving me love. All y'all should follow because you guys are fans of Kanye, so be fans of me. Did that work? I'm sure some people tuned in or changed their thoughts because they're just diehard Kanye West fans. And I'm sure it's the same thing that's happening here with Nicki Minaj. They're going to jump on that bandwagon because she said MAGA is the way. When in actuality, MAGA is dying. MAGA's dying. And they're desperate to try to grab at any things that they can to get people back into the MAGA fray. That's literally what it is. But you got to miss me with this nonsense. You got the likes of Amber Rose, for example. Like, you got the likes of Amber Rose coming on to and going, yeah, I love MAGA. I love Trump. Okay, good for you. That's not going to change how any particular person votes. And if it works for somebody, my dear God, please tell me that us as American people are not that dumb. Because I believe that we're not. But it seems to work. As soon as we see something like this, they assume that it's going to change people's ways because they instantly feel like, oh, the fact that she's talking about Christianity, talking about the Lord, oh, I'm going to convert now too because she's found Jesus I'm going to convert now too because she found Jesus. I am inspired. If that happened to somebody and they had some spiritual moment because of Nicki Minaj being on here talking about her relationship with God and all that, hey, good on you. But some of y'all are just following a fad for the sake of following a fad because that's what she said, which is ridiculous. And I hope, here's the thing, because I'm not sitting here saying that no one should find faith. If you want to find faith, I hope you find it genuinely, in a genuine, in an authentic way, not because some celebrity said, I found God, you should too. That is a level of grifting, a level of pandering I have never seen. Well, we see it every year. So what am I saying? We see every year. This time they threw in faith, though. They're throwing faith into the mix. That's all it is. But it's interesting because apparently the reaction was a pretty big deal. People definitely did not like Nicki Minaj being on TPUSA's platform or even at America Fest. This is pretty insane. They now have a petition out to try to deport Nicki Minaj for appearing on TPUSA's platform. Yeah, I'm not kidding. There's a change.org petition right now as we speak that exists where they have over 9. Oh my God. Let me refresh this. Hold on. Let's see what 10,000. Oh my God. It went up 1,000 since I went live, y'all. Over 1,000 since I went live, y'all. There's literally a deport Nicki Minaj back to Trinidad. My God. Oh my God, that's insane. Hold on. We got to talk about this, but this is insane. They are literally trying to deport Nicki Minaj because she went on. I'm telling you right now, she's not getting deported. She's not getting deported at all. I know everybody's holding their breath being like, ooh, because they're mad, right? They're mad about Nicki Minaj going up there and calling Trump sexy, calling JD assassin, right? Saying how dashingly handsome. Trust me, I get it. I get the frustration. But she ain't going to get deported for this. You really think that they're not going to protect her because she's somebody who has a mega platform? People still rock her music. You really think that they're going to deport her? Trump's going to be like, well, we got to deport her. I doubt it. I doubt it, y'all. I doubt it. Let's take a look at this. This is insane. Some Nicki Minaj fans have turned on her, signing a petition calling for her to be deported to her home country, Trinidad and Tobago, saying they feel betrayed by her. So now it's been over 10,000, almost 11,000 signatures so far. People are angry, y'all. So again, what they were hoping what they were hoping the turnout would be, the reaction would be with Nicki Minaj being up there on Turning Point USA. I don't think it worked the way they wanted it to. Okay. This did not work. But moving on. Over 10,000 people have signed the change.org petition as of Monday morning, asking the U.S. government to review Minaj's immigration status over her apparent move from a more liberal viewpoint to a conservative one. Yeah, there is footage of her out there on stage saying F Trump, F the administration from his first term. And then now she's completely being like, very mindful, very demure, and very MAGA. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. This is personal for those of us who watch Nicki rise as a beacon of hope, only to be abandoned by her shift in values. So Tristan Hamilton, I guess, started this petition So he says her public platform carries weight and responsibility, and her recent statements are a stark contrast to the solidarity she once showed, leaving many feeling deflated and delusioned. Furthermore, Nikki's status in the U.S. is not based on citizenship, which raises questions about her continued presence here despite her divisive actions and statements. Damn. So they reached out to Hamilton of Newsweek, which is the article we're reading here, Minaj's record label, and of course the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, for comment via contact form and email Monday morning. So again, she's been out here talking on behalf of anything and everything MAGA recently, especially with immigration and all that. It's been pretty insane what she's been saying. Why it matters. I'd like to know why it matters. The year has been marked with multiple cases of immigrants being detained and deported for their views, largely on the Israel-Hamas war, with the Trump administration taking a tougher stance on views it sees as against American values or U.S. foreign policy. Now, here's the thing, though. She's not sitting here saying anything that's going against what Trump has been saying or what Trump believes, or what the Trump administration is putting out here as, in as far as their stance on views and all that. She is sitting there saying, like, MAGA is king and Trump is dashingly handsome. So, and she said that on a massive platform. She ain't getting deported, y'all. It doesn't matter if we get to 1 million signatures over there on change.org. It's not going to change anything. Unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. I'm just saying she shouldn't be deported solely because of what she said. Let's not forget freedom of speech. She has the right to change her mind. She has a right to say stuff that people don't agree with. She shouldn't be deported because of her thoughts, but because of her voice, because of what she's saying. But also at the same time, neither should any of these people that have been getting kicked out of this country, period. If they're getting kicked out because they've been saying certain things that go against the grain of the Trump administration, they shouldn't be getting kicked out as well. Period. Everyone should be able to say what they want to say, how they want to say it, whether we like to hear it or not. Just like Nicki Minaj going on here, I don't like what she said. I think what she said was trash and it made it sound unhinged and crazy and look hypocritical as hell. But at the same time, does that mean that she should be deported? No. It's hilarious, though. It is funny that people are trying to deport her. That's how much a reaction this is, right? It's big. But it's hilarious. And then it's sad at the same time. Yeah, it's sad. It is sad, but it's hilarious. So in the wake of the conservative podcaster's demise, Charlie Kirk, there were also calls to revoke immigration status from those seen as celebrating the tragedy and denouncing his viewpoints. Minaj most recently made a public appearance alongside his widow, which we already seen and known at the America Fest. Let's see. According to Hamilton, the rappers, why would they? She's not a gift rapper. Who wrote this? Who wrote this? But the rappers' actions and words have taken a turn recently, leaving her fans feeling betrayed. He pointed to Minaj's apparent liberal stances on the LGBTQ plus issues, which had been swapped out for notions such as boys should just be boys. And then, of course, protect all white women, which is wild. It's wild. It's wild. Okay. As she expressed to Erica Kirk a few days before Christmas. Minaj, who is critical of Trump during his first term, has aligned herself more with the MAGA movement in recent history. So in November, she said she was working with the White House on the issue of Christian prosecution in Nigeria. Sure, or it has to do with rich minerals that are in Nigeria, but that's another conversation in itself. Something the president has taken a personal issue with, ordering strikes on the alleged perpetrators on Christmas Day. Yeah, he dropped bombs on mother-loving Nigeria. And if I'm correct, he just recently struck Venezuela, I think last night as well. So it is weird. Hamilton wrote that the petition was not just about one person's fall from grace, but about holding all to a standard of compassion and consistency. He said her words had significant impact on those from diverse communities. Yeah, everybody is feeling some type of way about all of this, okay? Definitely feeling some type of way about all of this for sure, okay? 1 second. All right, I'm back. Pretty crazy stuff. Okay, growing number of petition backers said that they would like to see Minaj deported to Trinidad, where she was born. So they're just like, take her back. Take her back. If she wants to be out there, if she wants to be, so supportive of all of this stuff and not be supportive of what she's been supportive of in the past, she can kick rocks. That's crazy, guys. That is crazy. But I'm telling you right now, it's comical. I don't think she's going to get deported, but at the same time, she has the right to free speech, just like anybody else. We don't have to like what she has to say, but at the same time, she has the right to say what she wants. I'm sorry. That's freedom of speech, whether we like it or not. I know that's frustrating for a lot of y'all's, but that is what it is. It's wild. It's wild. Okay. That is actually something that's really going down. Hold on. I need to pull up. So I did not show it, but we got to take a look at this. Where is it? Yeah, hold on. Yeah, this lady, yeah, she been out here. This lady had been out here putting out all kinds of stuff. Okay, so this is I don't know if there's music here. If there is, I gotta cut it out. But this is the video where there's the tattoo on her lower back. All right, the tramp stamp. Okay, take a look. I gotta mute it because yeah. Yep. Now maybe that's fake. Maybe that's fake, but she is in the music video. Okay. So here's the thing. I'm done. I mean, you guys tell me. Is this what the Jesus? April. That is a real. Hold on, let me see if I can. Yep, let me pause that here. Okay, so as you can see, there is a tramp stamp. Now, is that? I don't even know what it is. That is a huge tattoo on her lower back. Now, here's the thing. That could be fake. They could literally just, it could just be a fake tattoo that they just put on her back so that they have something to look at. I don't know. But it's interesting. Okay. What is it? It's a tattoo of a piranha. Is it a tattoo? Angela said, it's a piranha. Is it a piranha? Is it really a piranha? Wait, no. What is that a tattoo of? Is it really a piranha? Do you realize how? Oh my God, goo. I don't even need to go in the gutter. Why would she have is it really a piranha? Stop. Could it be one of those, the fish with the Jesus thing in it? You know what I mean? You know exactly what I'm talking about, that fish with the Jesus written in it. The word Jesus is written in the fish. Could it just be that and somebody looking at it and said, ooh, that looks like a piranha? You know what I'm saying? But it's really just saying Jesus, you know? But if it is like a piranha, that's bad. That ain't good, y'all. That, like I said, I don't even need to go in the gutter. That's a ground ball. Easy to pick up and throw straight over to the first base. Easy as hell. Now, if she really did have a, like, if that's, you know what I'm saying? Somebody said, what does piranha mean? Well, I mean, it can mean so many different, if that's really the case, if it really is a piranha, then it means like, there's a double meaning in it, guys. If that's the case, why would you have a piranha? Like, I understand, like, you know, you have a word, you know, like something like eternity or something like that. I don't know, or a star. Or some crazy little design in the back, right? But a piranha? Okay, let me explain what a piranha. Piranhas are carnivores, and they have very sharp teeth. Now, there is also a thing where, good God, I don't need to explain this. You know exactly what. There's a double when it comes to fish and the. But then you also. Now you got it with teeth. I don't need to explain it, okay? But hot dog teeth. Bad. Not good. So why piranha? That's weird. That's weird. Seriously, of all things in the world, piranha? Piranha? Leafy, you're good. You're good. I know. I'm sure a lot of people don't understand it. That's why I'm explaining it as best as I can as best as I can, as kindly as I can, without just being super rude. Because I could just be straight up unfiltered right now, and I'm not. I'm going to try my best. But yes, Messi, they are a predatory fish. And the thing is that there's a whole connection between the female anatomy and fish, which is weird, but they do the whole thing there. Then on top of it, now you're talking about that fish having teeth. That is weird. Now, if it is a piranha, that's insane. A shark even is weird. Okay? A killer whale is also weird too. Doesn't matter. Weird. Why? Could be fake. Could be fake. But at the same time, it's on her back. Okay? And facts, I don't know why you were timed out. If you were, that's news to me. Okay? But anyway, moving on. Very interesting. A piranha. Hold on. What is the name of this doggone song? Like, it's this. That stamp is no joke. But then that's the other thing, too. It's like, here it is. Like I said, everyone had, like, I'm sure it is very fishy. But here's the thing. We all have, like her going and getting a tattoo there. Back in the day, that was the spot for the girls. The guys would be like, oh, yeah, she got a stamp. Oh, that's sexy. I don't know why. It was a thing, but it was a thing. Girls used to do that. Does that mean that she was out here, you know, being super bad? I don't know. But that doesn't change the fact that maybe she had, I'm going to say it, maybe she had a hoe phase. What if she had a hoe phase? And then she had a hoe phase and it was over. That is possible. I'm being real. Just like guys go out there, they do their thing. Guys have hoe phases too. What if just like any other person. Went through a thing where she was just having fun being pretty and young and you know, dating and having a great time. Doesn't mean that she can't change her ways and find the Lord later on. That's still possible. Look at Mary Magdalene. You see what I'm saying? AI says it's 2 butterflies. I mean, if it's 2 butterflies, thank you, Jesus. Oh, my dear Lord. Because if it was a piranha, what in the is that? Who does that? Why? Like, you know, who puts a piranha on the lower back? But that is no. It doesn't work for me. Hold on. She did another one. This girl did another one, and she's been going in. This lady has been going in on Erica Kirk. But we need to take a look at this.
And how?
Hold on. We're gonna only play a little bit of this. Her YouTube channel's Sarah Holcomb. Just so you know, that video that I showed you guys went uber viral, like insanely viral. The first one, I mean. Where she was just basically like, is this you? Erica, is this you with this man? And then this man here? And these guys are all connected to TPUSA. And then you met your man's, Charlie? Erica, is that you too? In this music video? Is that you two over here? Right? But she said some more here. I want to play a little bit of this.
15 million views and counting on my skit about Erica Kirk lying on dating before she met Charlie Kirk. And this is just Instagram Reels. That's just one social media platform. On TikTok, it's 4 million views. Facebook also 4 million views. I'll play the reel at the end of this video, but there's a couple things that I want to touch on because she was caught lying. And I just made a skit to show people in an easy way so they could follow it and it's entertaining at the same time that, hey, there's something wrong here. She's lying about very small things. So what else is she lying about? Always coming on stage looking like an iced out pimp. What else are you lying about? She's been caught in so many inconsistencies, so many lies, so many half truths, so many twisting of the truth, so many blatant just, oh, I forgot type of things. And a lot of the story does not add up. And we're catching on to her. But just so you know.
Okay, I will say this. There's a lot of things that are not adding up as far as Erica Kirk's side. Do I think that she was behind the plot of taking out Charlie? I don't think so. I really don't. There's not enough evidence to show otherwise. So I sit there and I go, well, I will believe it when I see more proof. I know that Candace Owens is going scorched earth, trying to prove positive that TPUSA, at least TPUSA, had something to do with the demise of Charlie Kirk, but there's no proof of it. I'm going to be real. Right now, there's none. Sure, she had a guy named Mitch, okay? And fellas, don't be going out here being a little Mitch, okay? Anyway, she's going scorched earth trying to say that they have something to do with it because this guy, Mitch Snow, saw Erica and Brian Harple at a meeting at a military base the day before Charlie Kirk lost his life in Arizona. I just think it's so crazy. Now, they say that the meeting did exist, that it actually happened, that there was a meeting. But there's no full-on proof that Erica or Brian Harple were actually in that place at that specific time. Real talk. So again, a piranha tattoo means inner warrior, Crystal Moon just said. Interesting. That's not how I took it. That I don't think anybody, see, that's the thing. No disrespect, Crystal, or anybody else who knows that fact. I just don't think people are looking at a piranha on a tramp stamp, like on the lower back of somebody's, you know, a woman, and instantly thinking that means warrior. You know what I mean? They're not thinking that. They're going, what in the, what? Ooh, you mean like it's going to get ripped off? Like, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? But I, you know, if that's the case, then thank you so much for that information. Then, you know, here's the other thing too, though. Then why don't you just write warrior on it? You know what I'm saying? Instead of a piranha. You know what I'm saying? If it was a piranha, right? Okay. So, just, you know what I'm saying? Why not just say invincible, warrior, strength, whatever, right? Or just a symbol, not a piranha, but interesting. But we now know that the thing is literally 2 butterflies, apparently. So, okay. But let's continue.
And if there is something that she's in on, there's a lot more going on behind her. She's not the sole brains behind what occurred. And where is she getting all the money to suddenly start opening up 50 chapters of Turning Point USA per day?
It's called Israel. Yeah, I said it. Let's not forget, Israel was dropping $150 million on Turning Point USA before Charlie Kirk lost his life, but he turned it down. But then as soon as he lost his life, they're still fairly Israel-esque as of late, have they not? You know, so those others will say, Zionists, pro-Israel individuals. They've been very pro-Israel. They have not changed that. That has not changed. Haven't you noticed that? So I think that check got re-signed or rewritten, redeposited into Turning Point USA. And also, here's the other thing, too. Let's not forget, Charlie Kirk lost his life. They had a outpouring of support from other TPUSA supporters. Let's not forget, they did a whole memorial service, which basically looked like the WWE, and they raised millions of dollars just on that alone. Then they raised millions of dollars off of the T-shirt, the white T-shirt that said "Freedom" written in black. That thing written in black. That was the last shirt that Charlie Kirk was wearing before he lost his life. They sold a buttload, millions of dollars worth of that T-shirt. So you got that too. And they're still pushing for people to support and put money into TPUSA. In fact, they were already pushing for support before the memorial service. When she went up and spoke out for the very first time out of the 600 times she's been speaking out as of late, but she spoke out in Turning Point USA studio, in Charlie Kirk's studio, right next to Charlie Kirk's microphone. And she said, "We aren't stopping. This is making us fight even more." She even said that. And she said, "Don't give up, or, don't think that we're backing off. We're not backing down. We're going to be, we're getting to the likes of you've never seen before. Please go over to Turning Point USA, blah, 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 and support over there." People are already starting to support her support TPUSA from the very beginning of this ish, y'all. The moment he lost his life, it seemed as if it was 2 days, I think, maybe 2 days later, she went out and was speaking and saying, "Please support." And of course, people took that and they really took that seriously, took that to heart. And they said, I will support as best as I can. Here's $5. But imagine $5 from 1 million people, right? Imagine each person, even 1,000 people, giving $5 each. You see what I'm saying? It's a lot of money. It's a decent amount of money. Imagine millions of people buying a T-shirt, buying the mother-loving book that she says that he wrote, which I don't think he did. I'm going to say it. I don't care. I think he was in the middle of writing a book and he was going to get it finished and he lost his life. I don't think the book was done. I think they went to ChatGPT and said, "Can you help us finish the rest of this book?" And then they made the book. And now they're peddling that too. I'm sorry, guys. Like I said, it's just the timeline that is wild to me. She did not even get, on a personal level, She did not even get 5 seconds to breathe. Now, I know everybody out here is going to be like, no, she had time to grieve. You don't understand. You don't know her. True, I don't know her. But at the same time, she has been up in front of every camera since the day he lost his life. The day after he lost his life. Let's just say that. There's been no stopping. It's can't stop, won't stop. That's crazy. Every day, it seems like there's a new interview with her. When is she going to go and spend time with her kids who are grieving right now? Trust me, Turning Point USA is doing just fine. It's doing just fine. But they're taking the image of Charlie Kirk, the legacy he has left behind, and they are trying to turn this guy into basically a deity. They're trying to turn this whole situation into a doggone, like they're trying to create their own dogma, which is insane. It's insane. And she's, I guess, crying all the way to the bank. That's what it feels like, at least. I just want to be like, yo, girl, go chill. Go sit down and chill somewhere, you know? Take some time and be with those kids. Take some time, even for yourself. Every 5 seconds, she's somewhere. Oh, also the other thing, too, is the only reason why she was wanting to sit down with Candace Owens is because she said, Candace Owens herself said, stop supporting TPUSA. Ask for your money back. That's the only reason why they gave a damn. Other than that, Candace Owens has been yapping all day long, saying all of her theories, saying what she needs to, saying what she wants to say. As soon as she said, get your money back, they said, what now? We need a statement now. We will debunk everything Candace Owens has said. We will do it at a time that works for us. And if Candace Owens wants to join us, she's more than welcome to. And then she's like, I can join you guys, but virtually. Nope, that won't work. You need to meet us in person. Why? So she said, F you, no, I'm here. I got cameras. I got technology just like you. I could do it just like that. But no, they didn't want that either. So then she jumps on a plane and flies to Candace Owens. And mind you, I want to remind you, Candace Owens and Erica Kirk got into a room and they had it out. And then Candace is like, yeah, you know, I'm alive, everybody. Don't worry. But we had a conversation. Everything's fine. We were able to be on the same page on a couple things. We were able to debunk some things. And so that's what we did. But then in actuality, she talked about it for 5 seconds. Candace Owens talked about it for 5 seconds. It felt like 5 seconds. She gave us a really weak, watered down version of what her whole 4.5-hour meeting was with Erica Kirk. She never comes back to that conversation at all. But yet she brings somebody of the likes of Mitch Snow onto her show and says, oh, so members of the TPUSA organization were there on a military base having a very, very serious meeting with the military? What? So in other words, nothing was squashed between Candace Owens and Erica Kirk. Zero, nothing. Zilch, nada, zippity doodah. Nothing. Because if it was squashed, she wouldn't be going after TPUSA anymore. She wouldn't be asking those questions anymore. Have you not noticed that? Am I the only one who's seen that? She has a meeting with Erica Kirk, 4.5 hours. She says the very next day gives us a very watered down breakdown of what that meeting entailed. For one show, 4.5 hour meeting. She gave us 39 minutes where like three topics were brought up in that 39-minute piece segment of the show. And then the shows from that point on, she never circled back and talked about the rest of the 4.5 hour meeting No, she just continues on. We think that everything's cool and everything's fine and Erica Kirk won't be on the chopping block anymore. But in actuality, she's thrown back on the chopping block all over again. Ain't that insane? So it wasn't a productive 4.5 hour meeting. Because if it was a productive 4.5 hour meeting and they were able to squash the beef between each other, Erica Kirk's name would not be brought up in any of these things anymore. She would leave it alone. But she hasn't. Have you not noticed that? And now she's going full tilt on trying to prove that Erica Kirk and Brian Harple were at this military base, Fort Huachua or whatever it's called, trying to prove that they were at that place. What the hell's going on? What the hell's going on? So the meeting was bupkis. The meeting was a waste of time. 4.5 hours of nothing. Did they really get work done in that meeting or not? It makes no earthly sense, guys, but okay. Let us continue.
In schools, 50 chapters.
It's a lot of money.
Where's all this money? Because that takes a lot of money. Suddenly you have all this money. What's going on? It's becoming increasingly obvious. Erica Kirk wanted fame. She was looking for fame before she met Charlie. She decided to play the little housewife role for 5 years.
Whoa. Let's look at that again.
She was looking for fame before she met Charlie. She decided to play the little housewife role.
What the hell is that? That's really 2 butterflies? I don't think that's even 2 butterflies.
5 years.
That looks weird, y'all. Why does it look like, hold on. Why does it look like the thing that, why does it make me think of the creepy parasite alien thing from the movie The Faculty? Why does that make me think of that? Remember that movie, The Faculty? What the hell is that? That's not 2 butterflies. That don't look like 2 butterflies for me. That looks like a train wreck. But you know what I'm talking about? The thing that would get into their nose and then, you know what I mean? Consume them and then they all become a hive mind. You know, trying to think of who's in the movie. Elijah Wood, Josh Hartnett. That's all I can think of. That's all who I can think of. Famke Janssen. Okay. Why does it look like that, but just black? It looks weird. That does not look like butterflies, but okay. Sorry. I just had to, this is the one I was looking for. But she ain't wrong with this theory that maybe Erica Kirk was trying to become a name. She wanted fame. She wanted success. She started dating guys that were in that realm because she's all about that life too. But as she was dating in that circle of people, she started seeing other people higher in the ranks. And she just kind of was dating, just dating up. And then she met Charlie Kirk, top of the food chain. He fell in love. She fell in love too. And they had kids. And they built an empire, right? A MAGA empire. A new version, this time's version, basically, of a televangelists. If you really think about it, they're just televangelists, except they're pushing political, not just faith. They're also pushing political views as well. Because now it comes hand in hand. Wild, right? Let's continue.
Increasingly obvious. Erica Kirk wanted fame. She was looking for fame before she met Charlie. She decided to play the little housewife role for 5 years, and then she took over his company. And there is something going on behind the scenes. At this point, they're just insulting our intelligence. At bare minimum, the majority of the United States, especially women, have watched true crime out of our wazoo for the past 2 decades straight. So we know when something is fishy. Most recently, Erica Kirk had Nicki Minaj come out on stage and act like they were best friends. Quite literally, Nicki Minaj, an A-list rapper celebrity, came out on stage with Erica Kirk hand in hand as if they're besties.
This is all catered to the female. I'm telling you right now, this whole thing right here, this BS that we're looking at right here, including everything else that we've been seeing as of late, like, how can I find a man, a good Christian man, Erica? And she's like, well, I didn't go out there and gallivant. I wasn't drinking libations and you know, being a little garden tool. I didn't do any of that. All I did was I was praying for the good Lord to give me a good man. And suddenly I was at a job interview and there it is. My future husband, Charlie. That's what basically it is. And now you got, not Candace Owens. Now you got Nicki Minaj being carted out to the front of for everybody to see. And it's all the ladies that are losing their minds. Sure, the guys are like, yo, whoa, Nicki Minaj, damn, that's crazy. But it's all for the ladies, guys. This is for the ladies. She is having her Oprah moment right now. Erica Kirk is. And she's trying to get those ladies to come on in and join. Be a part of the fray. Be a part of the movement, which is Turning Point USA. I want to point out one more time. I said it the other on another show. During her speech, when she opened AmFest, she said, I just want you guys to know the demographics that are in this room right now. And one of them, she said, 54% of the people in this room are female. And the place erupted. There were more female than male in the room. This is exactly what they're trying to do, or at least her. In my mind, that's what she's catering to. She is trying to get the ladies. She is trying to get the female interest. And you know what? Honestly, aside from this Nicki Minaj thing, I think it's working.
And Charlie Kirk talked ish about Nicki Minaj. They didn't know her. Suddenly they know her. Let me roll the clip.
Right now, Black culture is being held captive by influences, songs,
Which
and role models.
influences?
I mean, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B.
Okay, Nicki Minaj is causing dads to leave the home.
Hold on a second. I don't think that's a good role model for 18-year-old Black girls. I don't think that songs that are talking about like.
Then suddenly they're hand in hand with his wife on stage in an arena where she's trying to honor him. Do you think that he would think this is honoring him? Now, let's listen to what Nicki has to say, because there's reasons why Nicki might be kind of like partnering up with Erica Kirk, especially if there's money behind her. Nicki Minaj's brother is in prison for 25 years, and you can read on the screen exactly what for, because, you know, there are things you can't say on here. People are suspecting that she's trying to get a pardon for her brother because she said this.
Dear young men, you have amazing role models like our handsome, dashing president.
I need to stop that right here. Can I just say, first off, even when you look at her face, even saying those words, it's almost like she's trying to come up with something that's going to sound very complimentary to the likes of Trump. Why? Trump likes flattery. He loves it. And if she's sitting there willing to say all of that on camera, on a massive platform, and it doesn't even, let me just say this too, it doesn't even matter if it's on a massive platform, she is still Nicki Minaj. So if she went to some random podcaster's platform and started talking about how Trump is amazing, it'd still get millions of views because it's Nicki Minaj. So she went on, and you could tell she is saying these things. It feels like she's saying these things and she's pulling this stuff out of her butthole. That's literally what it is. It's fake. It feels fake to me, unless she's that brainwashed or not even brainwashed. Hold on. Let me give her the benefit. Either she just made this stuff out of the clear blue sky because she's trying to get her brother out, maybe, or because she got a fat ass check, or she really truly believes this. People can change their minds. People can. I just don't believe that. I don't believe option B. I believe option A more than anything else. How could you go from F Trump, real talk? How can you go from that to dashing, amazing, dashing President Trump? Like, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Unless she's off her meds today.
Nikki. What?
Yeah.
But these people always end up telling on themselves, which she did in the very next breath.
And you have amazing role models like the assassin, J.D. Vance, our vice president. And when I say that...
She recognizes what she just did there. Yeah.
And then here's the thing. Erica's like, it's okay. You know what I mean? Because you got to be nice to Nicki Minaj because it's Nicki Minaj. You can't snap at Erica Kirk can't snap live on Nicki Minaj because it's Nicki Minaj and she's trying to get her viewers and get her people, right? So she's got to take the high road. Listen, I've heard worse things. Huh? Now, clearly it was a slip up. Clearly it was a mistake, but it's crazy that Nicki Minaj would sit there and say that word in that particular moment. That is diabolical. Diabolical.
Trust me, there's nothing new under the sun that I have not heard. So
now we know J.D. Vance was not the assassin. Okay. But what we're saying here is that there are assassins. Like, there's something going on behind the scenes. They always end up saying something. Erica Kirk said something very recently as well. And I want to play that from someone who understands linguistics.
Proved even more once he was assassinated. Once he was assassinated.
This indicates anticipation. Like, once you finish dinner, you can have dessert.
My entire speech has been wiped because my iPad won't even turn on.
Let me just say this really quick. What he's saying here, I don't agree with. I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry. I don't agree with it. Just because she's saying the word assassinated does not automatically mean that there's some sort of anticipation, but okay. I mean, you know, like I said, see, this is the problem of the world that we live in, especially when, like I said, idle minds are the conspiracy theorist plaything. That's what's unfortunate because we don't have a whole lot of information. We don't know exactly what went down, what led to the demise of Charlie Kirk. We only have a few bits and pieces. We don't have the whole picture. We have pieces of the puzzle of this picture. And then now people are spending that time to overanalyze everything to the point where they start pointing fingers at everything and everyone. And it's insane. We see this in other missing person cases. We've seen this with the unaliving cases, the murder cases that we've seen of the whodunit type situation where these particular assailants or these monsters are still at large. You see what I'm saying? That's what I mean by the idle mind is the conspiracy theorist plaything, okay? It is bad. It does not help the situation because what happens? Everything goes off the rails when we don't have enough information. And then other people, innocent lives even, get thrown into the muck. And then people start taking everything and they dismantle it like a mug. I've seen it and experienced it way too many times on so many other cases in the past. Okay. It is insane and it doesn't help the situation. It just adds drama and it gives people an opportunity to just make videos. You see what I'm saying? So again, sure. Okay. Maybe it is him saying once. Okay. Or her saying once type thing. But at the same time, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Doesn't matter if it's once he was, any of those words. It doesn't matter. To me, I just don't see it. I don't. But, you know, people are going to analyze every single last thing that comes out of every single person's mouth. But there's something here I was going to say that I think is really important. Okay. I think it's weird and pretty insane. And she's only burying herself, which doesn't make the situation any better for Erica Kirk. here's what happens, okay? She'll sit there and say, oh, yeah, my iPad won't work. So I gotta shoot from the hip. I gotta say what I say, and I'm gonna use my own words. I'm not gonna read from my script. I'm gonna shoot from the hip. Talk to you guys person to person. She starts talking, right? And then she says out loud, which is the dumbest thing she could have ever done. She says, oh my gosh, as soon as I said Egypt, my iPad turned on. Why would you say something like that? If she has nothing to do with anything? Pretty insane, right? She even said that. We already saw it in the past. We saw that. That's insane. Absolutely insane. Oh, my iPad suddenly turned on as soon as I said Egypt. How funny. Why do you say that out loud? When you got all these people going, oh, you know what I mean? Everyone's watching every single syllable that comes out of her mouth. People are literally looking at her and thinking she is the one who practically dagnab pulled the damn trigger, right? Last thing you need to be saying is something like that. Am I right? Am I right? It's just dumb. She might be trolling people for sure, but it's dumb. It's really dumb. It's a dumbass move.
God forced Erica Kirk to be off script so that we could hear her true voice.
But here's what I've learned the most in these past 3 months is that my husband, he deeply mattered on a multitude of levels, so much so that it proved even more once he was assassinated how much of a peacemaker he was.
This is coming from her mind. She was in anticipation of this event. That's why she said once he was assassinated. Because otherwise you would say after he was assassinated, this thing I didn't expect to happen after our house burned down, not once our house burned down, but see the planning that this took puts you in the mindset that it's once Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I realized this. This is crazy.
I think this is.
I mean, I see his point. Okay, I see it. But like I said, I don't agree with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't. That's just where I stand on it. Sorry, guys. Moving on.
Very interesting. You would, say exactly what this guy said. Or you would say when he was assassinated. Because, I mean, that implies that you were in the very present being shocked just like everybody else. But saying once he was as a past tense thing, that is anticipation.
I think that there's a lot of people that will sit there and say, have made mistakes, like when they have a missing person, like a missing persons case, you know, parents will sit there and they're trying to find their daughter and they'll say something in past tense rather than in present tense, right? As if that person is no longer living. So people will look at that and go, oh my gosh, they have something to do with it. And it's like, well, what if that person's just nervous? And they're just saying something, but they don't mean it exactly how you're interpreting it as. Just because they said she loved to play soccer doesn't automatically mean that they think that they have something sinister, to do with their disappearance. And then there's other times when the parents have something sinister to do with their missing child. But you get what I'm saying. Some people just accidentally say a word that doesn't automatically mean that they're up to something bad. We have to leave that on the table too. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, sure. Once he was assassinated, yes, that is once. I get what they're saying, but I automatically say, well, she's not reading a script. She's speaking, right? And she's spinning by saying, oh yeah, God wanted me to speak from the heart. You really think that if she was going to read a script, her speech, you think that it would say once? Probably not. Probably not. Like I said, just because she says once does not automatically mean an admission of guilt. But like I said, anything's possible. Anything's possible. The jury's still out on the possibility of her having something bad to do with this situation, right? I'm waiting to hear more proof, not just a speech where she says one word. I need proof, guys. I need hard evidence.
She anticipated this. I've never heard anyone make a mistake like that in linguistics, ever. She slipped up and showed something that she didn't want us to see. And how is she suddenly friends with Nicki Minaj? After the horrific flub that Nicki Minaj said, Erica Kirk says, I love you. I love you. Erica, since when?
I love you. You have to laugh about it, truly. I have been called every single thing, and you know what? God is so good, you let it roll right off your back.
I'm sorry, but since when have you loved her, Erica? And if this is the way that you're honoring your husband, this seems a little bit like a dishonor. I'm sorry. Hello?
Okay. I will say this, all right? The whole I love you, it's a full-on act. Yeah. It's a full-on act. She was sitting there in one of the other videos, interviews. She's like, I'm not like some holier than thou person, but I think that she's putting on an act. Shower them with the love of Jesus. I love you. Nicki, I love you. Of course she loves her. She's speaking on her platform. She's a huge star. And she is saying things that Erica Kirk agrees with 100,000 times. 100,000 times. So of course she's like, I love you. I love you so much. You're awesome. No, it's okay. Because you're doing me a favor. You're making me a whole lot more money. I mean, God loves you. She is this, it's a whole act. And you know what? I will say this though, too. I guarantee you, if this was not on a platform and she had an opportunity to have audience with Nicki Minaj and they were having a conversation and she misspoke, she might be like, it's okay. It's okay. I still love you. You're good. Let's continue. It's an act. You really think that Erica Kirk is going to sit there and lose her doggone mind over what she's saying in front of millions of people? I doubt it. She ain't going to lose her cool like that. She's got too much. She's got way too much riding on this whole situation. If she was to lose her mind and lose her cool over a situation like this, man, say bye-bye to all the money. Say bye-bye to all those followers. Say bye-bye to the thing that Charlie Kirk built, that she's trying her best to sustain. I'm sorry. Again, like I said, bad. Okay, but she's definitely trying to do as best as she can to take the high road and be like, "Ooh, no, it's okay, Nicki, I love you. Jesus loves you too. Jesus loves you too." Come on. It's an act. It's an act. She's got way too much riding on her and this whole organization. And if she really slips up, she slips up pretty bad in some other moments in the America Fest, which the America Fest, I think, was an absolute cluster F, but that was a big moment. She had no room to mess that up. Nicki Minaj did all the messing up for her, right? Well, let me get some of these member chats and these super chats here really quick. So, Reed, thank you so much for being a member for the past 34 months. Wow, that's a long time. Thank you so much. Hey, P and Famalam, thank you so much. Hope you all have been having a joyous holiday. Wishing everyone a pending, interesting New Year's, Happy New Year, 2026. Yes, God bless always. Much love. Yes, much love to every single one of y'all too. Of course, Happy New Year, happy early New Year, happy pending New Year to every single last one of y'all as well. 2025 has been insane, and I will say this too. Please be safe out there. Like I'm going to see you guys. Like, we'll still be doing a show on New Year's Eve. We'll still have all of what we do. what we usually do. But I do want to say that please be safe for New Year's Eve. There's just a lot of bad that's been going on. All right. There's been a lot of bad. 2025 has just been really tough for everybody. There's been a lot of plans of doing some bad things out here, these Terrys out here in these streets. All I ask, and especially with what's going on overseas in multiple places in Nigeria, you got stuff going on in Syria, you got stuff that's going on in Venezuela. You know, all I say is just please be safe out there. All right. I'm not sitting here saying that you shouldn't go out and kick it and have a great time. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is when you do, just make sure you're safe. Okay. Because there's a lot of bad things going on right now. It's insane. Nurse for God, thank you so much for being a member for the past 10 months. I appreciate it. Pascal, you sound sicker today. Yeah. Like I said, I've been battling. Listen, I had a really, really bad cold in November where I lost my voice. Y'all heard that. Then I got well and I was fine for like 5 days. And then I got sick all over again. And then that one lasted for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, right? Then I started feeling better again. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a few days ago, like Christmas Eve, if I'm correct, I just started getting sick all over again. So it's just been this weird, crazy roller coaster ride. Like I'll be fine for a few days, get back to my natural rhythm, eating properly, feeling good again, and then all of a sudden I'll get sick again. So it's been a roller coaster ride. Hopefully this is the last one of them all. I'm taking every measure to make sure that this doesn't happen ever again. And yeah, I mean, I don't have the flu or anything, but damn, I've just been getting sick left and right. And then also at the same time, the temperature, like the climate, has been insane. Christmas Day, it was in the 70s, y'all. 70 degrees. Then it's dropped down to, where is it at right now? We're at 25 degrees. But it was like literally yesterday, it was a high of 62. Yeah. So the temp and everything's been a roller coaster ride. So it's been nuts. All right. Christmas Day was 70, yes, and foggy. The very next day was in the high 60s. The day after that was still in the high 60s. And then yesterday it dropped down to like the 40s. And again, now we're at 25 degrees now. Now it's 25 degrees. So imagine that all in the span of just 4 days, 4 or 5 days. It's been insane. Okay. That's not normal. You know, it should stay around this temperature right now that we're at right now. It should stay at that temperature, but it's not. So, like I said, it's been bad. Okay. But moving on. Nicole, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for being a member for the past 4 months. I appreciate it. Bernice, thank you so much for being a member for over a year. Appreciate it. Hi, Pascal. Hope you had a good Christmas. Hope all is well. Yeah. I had a very good Christmas. It was very nice. It was very chill. I was just sick, you know. I was just suffering, you know. It's been pretty bad. A lot of head colds, just all up here. It's been really bad. Okay. But it was still a good one. You know, got to spend a lot of time with family and friends. So hopefully it was great for you guys as well, being able to see family and friends as well. Super May, thank you so much for the love. Pascal, have you considered seeing an allergist? Colds can occur after an allergy. I went through a round of shots and it worked for me. I haven't thought about that. I never thought of myself as somebody who has allergies. You know, this is literally just colds. Real talk. Like as soon, I'm not kidding. It'll be, yeah, it's a cold thing for sure. Okay. Yeah, it's a cold thing for sure. Moving on. Black Lake, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. I live 20 minutes from UVU. Originally, I guess you're saying, originally from California. The dialect here is different. It's weird to see FLDS. FLDS. in their trad garb too, like looking into past times. LOL. Yeah, Latter-day Saints, I'm assuming. Yeah, I the traditional garb type thing, yeah, it is very, very weird. It is very weird. I've been to Utah maybe 2 times in my life, and I do think that state is just a different area, it's a different town. It's a different vibe, but yeah, that's interesting to see, like, the traditional garb, etc. Yeah, I don't know, like, I haven't seen it myself, but it'd be something interesting to see in person for sure. Ellery, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate the super sticker. Thank you so much. And Rye the Guy, thank you so much. What up, man? Thank you so much. When celebrities start paying my bills, I'll start caring what they think. Facts. Hard facts. Hard freaking facts. Like I said, that's why I'm saying it really. Oh, hold on. Cello Man just said, P, some women need to cover their face. Oh, they need to cover their face. Ah, okay. Well, interesting. But here's the thing. I thought he was saying, like, women, like, in trad gear, traditional garb to cover their face, but that's not what that said. No, I see it was a joke. Now, so here's the thing. When it comes to hold on, sorry. Yeah, Zinc D3. Yep, I'm doing that too. Like, I started a whole new regiment. I'm not joking. Okay. It was a Rona joke. Okay, I see what you're saying. Now, when it comes to this whole thing, with Erica Kirk and all that, I mean, for me, I'm not sitting here saying that the hype is real. I'm not. I still sit here and want to know what exactly is going on, right? I really want to know the truth of what actually happened to Charlie Kirk. Do I think that Erica Kirk has something to do with it? Not really. I don't. I hate to say it like that, but I just don't think that Erica Kirk has something to do with Charlie Kirk's demise. Now, here's the thing, though. That does not mean that I'm not leaving on the table that there's maybe a possibility of Erica Kirk having some sort of connection to this whole thing. Okay? I'm not going to sit there and say, no, I don't believe it at all. I leave everything on the table. There are some things that are super far-fetched that are still on the table, because at the end of the day, we don't have all the information yet, right? And when we get all the information, then, boom. Then we'll maybe find more, maybe we'll find the truth. I think what Candace Owens is doing, yes, it's been messy. Yes, it's been really, really chaotic and messy, but I also think she's the only person that's willing to try to put out information and ask the questions. Nobody else is. Everybody else is just like, okay, it is what it is. It's weird, right? I think that's weird. Messy. Do you not think it's because you don't want to believe it, or because you don't think there's evidence? Okay, well, first off, good question. I just don't think that there's evidence. Or actually, no, I don't think that there's evidence. I want to see the evidence, right? I think we all want to see proof of there being a connection to any of this. Because, yes, it is wild that one moment Charlie Kirk's alive, then he's gone. Then the next thing you know, 15 seconds later, it feels like, Erica Kirk's the CEO, and she's out there peddling everything under the sun. And she's on every single video. She's in front of every microphone, and they're trying to groom her into something that we're all like, wait a second, Charlie Kirk just lost his life just a few months ago. Dag nabbit. Let the man like rest in peace. He's not even cold in the ground yet. All right. And they're already peddling everything they can to try to turn him into freaking Mickey Mouse. Real talk. He's Mickey Mouse at this point. That's insane, don't you think? So again, yeah, I need to see more proof. I want to see evidence. I'm not sitting here saying that there isn't proof. If there is proof, if there is evidence, boom, show us the evidence, right? Show us the evidence. But if there isn't any evidence and she has nothing to do with this, then let her do her thing. Let her grift, let her pander, let her do whatever she needs to do to get people to support TPUSA, right? That's her hustle. That's her hustle. You see what I'm saying? But I'm still waiting for proof. And that's proof if there's anything that has to do with the French, Israel, American government. Show me proof of all that. Yes, I've seen the exploding mic theory, and I think it's trash. Sorry. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think he was hit. You see that footage? He was hit. That's what I see. I don't see an exploding anything. But again, people are riding with that too, you know? Just like people are saying that Charlie Kirk's still alive. No, the dude is gone. He is gone. He's gone, guys. He's gone. He is not Tupac. He's not Elvis. He gone. You know? It's sad. But it is what it is, right? But guys, I'm going to jump off here because I'm sure there's some news that's still newsing out here we're going to be talking about here in just a little bit. So that is the show. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. It really means a lot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Do me a favor. And once we get more information, like I said, once we have more proof, let me just say this really quick. Have you not seen that everybody's putting out their conspiracy theories, but there's no proof to back it up? Sure, we're getting a few receipts here and there, you know what I'm saying? But we have not seen any real proof of said evil doing, wrongdoing, or anything of that sort. Excuse me. Real talk. Have we? I have yet to see anything showing, backing up any of the theories that we've heard from anyone so far. The only proof that we've seen so far is that we got people who are falling on their faces for not doing their due diligence. Like Brian Harple. He messed up big time. And he showed it in real time in that interview with Sean Ryan. He messed up, but he tried to point the blame on local PD. You see what I'm saying? Where's the proof? I'm saying that same thing to Candace Owens. Where's the mother-loving proof, y'all? Where is it? We could conspirize all day long, but give me hard evidence. Hard evidence. Okay, guys. That is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do me a favor before you head out. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. And if you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, make sure you hit that follow button, please, and thank you. Subscribe here on my main channel. Subscribe. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips, and my third channel, Pascal Raw. Subscribe to those channels. They'll be greatly appreciated. Okay? Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. I'll be back on a little bit later on today, so be on the lookout for that, all right? But we got to get going. I'll be talking to you guys very, very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.